Let's do some rare Saturday Night Baseball. Decided to stay in and just hang out. It was a long day. And that's not a typo up there. So this is the KCCL Dead Ball 19th Century Tournament, and that is indeed the 1894 Orioles, not the 1994 Orioles. So the Orioles won Game 1. This Oriole team has a lot of offense, but pitching leaves a little bit desired. So we move to Detroit for Game 2, where Detroit will try to even it up, and Baltimore will try to win it all. There's a big clue. Welcome in. He says he knows he's doing something right when he beats Robbie to the chat. How about it? All right, so let's get to the action and sally forth, as it were. So, big clue. Hope you're doing well tonight, and I certainly hope that it was a good day for you. All right, so we're gonna have Hawk versus Killian tonight, and let's get to the ballpark. All right, so here we are at a very, very sort of neat kind of postcard rendering of Bennett Park in 1907. So Ty Cobb, this will be his second season or third season in the majors. This 1907 team would go on to meet the Chicago Cubs in the World Series, and of course the 1894 Baltimore Orioles. Baltimore and the Boston Beaneaters pretty much dominating the 1890s. Should be a fun game, and we'll talk about this this pitching when we get to it. Really just leaves a lot to be desired. In the first game in this was a wild one, absolutely wild one. Ready for some more daring do, says Big Clue. A park named for Detroit Wolverine catcher Charlie Bennett, tragically maimed in a trade accident. Only Major League ballpark ever named for a player. Nice to know that. Thanks for that. Always count on Big Clue for some really, really cool minutia. Nice stuff. Good trivia. So I guess this game brought to us tonight by B.A. Chaplow Lumber. So for all your 2x4 and plywood sheeting needs, go to B.A. Chaplow Lumber. All right, let's look at the starting defense for the Detroit Tigers from left to right. In left, Davy Jones. In center, Sam Crawford. Again, the wrong picture of Sam Crawford, but we're going to go with it anyhow. And in right field, the Georgia Peach, Ty Cobb. Around the horn from first to third, Claude Rossman at first. Germany Schaefer at second. We have to do a league in his honor sometime. At shortstop, Charlie O'Leary. At third base, Bill Coughlin. And catching, Boss Schmidt. And on the mound, Ed Killian. Ed Killian for the 1907 Tigers, a 1.78 earned run average, 25 wins, 13 losses, 1 save, 314 innings pitched, 91 runs batted in, 91 walks, and 96 strikeouts. Opponents managed 252 against him. So, I did catch on the backside RJO Network's 1988 NL Division Series between the Expos and the Bucks, and it was a good one, and some bottom of the ninth, hell-raising, you might say. So Joe Kelly will lead it off here for the Baltimore Orioles, followed by John McGraw and Dan Bruther. So a lot of big names really on this Baltimore team, and a few recognizable ones, and I do have to remember to change the Sam Crawford picture at some point. Anyhow, Joe Kelly in 1894 hit .393, 111 runs batted in, including 6 home runs, 46 steals. In the tournament thus far, he is 2 for 4 with a double and a run scored. Game time temperature here. It is 40 degrees and winds just going 1 mile per hour left to right. Otherwise, a nice Nice day for some baseball. So hope you guys enjoy it. Again, Baltimore leading the series 1-0. Kelly, little chopper up the first base line. Claude Rossman will race him to the bag and retire him for out number 1. And we're underway here at Bennett Park in Detroit, Michigan. Little Napoleon, John McGraw, 340 hitter in 1894. 14 triples, 78 steals, 92 runs batted in, and a home run. So Ed Killian sets and fires the 2-0 to McGraw. Chopped to short, O'Leary up with it. This is going to be close. The throw to Rossman, and John McGraw tearing down the line. Beats it out for the infield single. So McGraw aboard for Big Dan Bruthers. Hit 347 for the Orioles in 1894. 39 doubles, 23 triples, 9 dingers, 128 runs batted in, and speed as well on a base pass. 38 steals for him. Dan came around to score 137 runs. McGraw has an aggressive lead on first as Bosch Schmidt has set the target for Ed Killian. Here's the wind. And there goes McGraw. Schmidt's throw. And John McGraw caught stealing. So out number 2. And with the erasure of McGraw, Bruthers now back in the box, batting with the bases empty. 2 away here, just underway at Bennett Park. Ed Killian fires. Bruthers sends this to right field. Going back quickly on it is Ty Cobb. And he will make the catch for the 3rd out of the inning. So for the Baltimore Orioles, no runs, 1 hit, no errors, a caught stealing. We've played a half inning, Baltimore nothing. And Detroit coming to bat, leading off Sam Crawford. Crawford, 323 hitter in 1907. 4 home runs, 81 runs batted in, 18 steals. And there's MV. Welcome in, MV. Good to see you. Again, incorrect picture of Sam Crawford. This is Crawford. This is the Negro League Sam Crawford. But we'll let him up there. It's nice to have him sort of representing anyhow. But this Sam Crawford, Wahoo Sam Crawford, 2 for 5 in the tournament. He has a triple, 2 runs batted in. Davy Jones waits on deck. Let's look at Bill Hawk's numbers, and we're talking about this pitching for the Baltimore Orioles. And they had to do it all with offense. A 5.81 earned run average. 16 wins, 9 losses, 3 saves, 206 innings pitched, 78 walks, 68 strikeouts. Opponents hit 316 against him. So Baltimore needs to score a lot of runs as they did the last time these two teams met. Let's look at the starting defense for the 1894 Baltimore Orioles. Around the horn, this time we'll start with the infield. Dan Bruthers at first. Heine Reitz at second. Huey Jennings at short. John McGraw at third. In left field, Joe Kelly. In center, Steve Brody. And in right, Wee Willie Keeler. Catching is Wilbert Robinson, and Bill Hawk takes the hill for Detroit. PQ Rivers says, baseball. Hi all. Yeah, it's a rare Saturday night. I decided to stay in and hang out with you guys. So hopefully a few more folks come in. So welcome in PQ River and MV and Big Clue. All right. Don't know that we'll see Robbie tonight. Had to sort of explain to him, but I had to keep it safe as to why. Aaron Reed was talking about MLB The Show and how the controller really vibrates on that. And I said, well, I would just have my girlfriend monitor the vibrating controller. And Robbie asking why that would be so. And I tried to explain that it was biology. And so anyhow, there we go. Hopefully Robbie will learn that nice biological fact. Guessing Robbie is working this evening. He said something about that, working on a concert and then something else. I don't know. So we hope our redoubtable Robert Wardberg is doing well. All right, so Bill Hawk delivers to Crawford. Crawford, clean base hit to left. Joe Kelly up with it. First base hit. And here we go. These teams tied in hits. And Sam Crawford stole 18 bases in 1907 for the Tigers. And here is left fielder Davy Jones. 273 hitter in 1907. 27 runs batted in for him. 101 runs scored. 30 steals. He is 0 for 4 in the tournament. So Bill Hawk checks Wahoo Sim, who has a pretty good lead at first. Now he winds and throws over, actually. And Crawford, safe on a very close call. So a quick tag by Dan Bruthers, but Crawford just getting the spike on the bag. Now Bill Hawk into his windup. Here's the pitch. There goes Sam Crawford. Davy Jones throws down, and Sam Crawford has himself a stolen base. So Crawford in scoring position for the Detroit Tigers. Davy Jones back in there, and here's the 0-1 pitch from Hawk. Jones swings, shallow fly ball to right. Willie Keeler makes the catch. Crawford will retreat to second and hold there. Cincinnati Reds beating the Pittsburgh Pirates today, so each team 1-1, 6-2 the score. So good win for the Cincinnati Reds. All right, one down for the Georgia Peach. Hit 350 in 1907. 119 runs batted in, 49 steals. So, I mean, Cobb just into his third year now, his third season. And, of course, nobody would know what would lay ahead or, for this first ballot inaugural class Hall of Famer. Hawk deals to Cobb. Cobb cuts on this one, chopped to the third base. McGraw up with it. McGraw onto Bruthers to retire Cobb, and Sam Crawford moved to third in the play. Interesting, John McGraw, very, very boisterous player, did not like Ty Cobb. You would think that he would like Cobb's style of play, but and actually McGraw, when asked, said that he much preferred Hannes Wagner. So I find that interesting that McGraw not a fan of Cobb whatsoever. Claude Rossman now, the first baseman for the Tigers, stands on the left side of the box. Rossman, a 277 hitter in 1907. He is having a good tournament too, 2 for 3. Rangers thumped the defending NL champs today at Globe Life Field, 16-3. Wow. The Rangers apparently fielding a team this year. Hawk from the stretch and the 0-1. Rossman swings. Fly ball to center. Steve Brody has it in his glove. And the Detroit Tigers, no runs, 1 hit, no errors. So pretty much go quietly. We've played one here at Bennett Field in Detroit, and we are scoreless. Willie Keeler due up, followed by Steve Brody and Eod Huey Jennings. Keeler hit 371 in 1894. 94 runs batted in, 22 triples, 32 stolen bases. When we had Willie Keeler presented a problem for us in this tournament because 2 other teams that we were going to have represented in this, the 1904 New York Highlanders, the 1899 Brooklyn Superbas, would have given us 3 Willie Keelers. So we did a vote in the chat, and there was just a lot of love for the 1894 Baltimore Orioles. So the other 2 teams in a later tournament, and somewhere down the road, we'll see one of those 2. But a lot of people rooting for these 1894 Baltimore Orioles, and they could win it today here in Detroit. We shall see. Keeler, one of the game's great place hitters, hit them where they ain't. Kellyan delivers the 3-1, and Willie Keeler indeed hit him where they ain't, right between Rossman and Schaefer. Schaefer for a base hit to right. Ty Cobb up with it, gets the ball back in. So good range for the Detroit Tigers on left and right. Davy Jones rated at 9, and Cobb rated at 9. Crawford out there just a bit above average, but Crawford, one of the early power hitters of the game, the all-time leader in triples lifetime with 312, I believe, a record that will never be broken. Keeler with 32 steals in 1894. Here is center fielder Steve Brody. And again, if you look up and down, and this includes the pitcher, if you look at this Baltimore Orioles lineup, everybody is 300 or above, actually 303 and above. So, and lots of steals. So on paper, batting-wise, they outclass these Detroit Tigers, absolutely. In fact, for the Tigers, only Sam Crawford and Ty Cobb are hitting above 300. So will pitching make the difference? Baltimore showed in game one, and a wild one, they could win it. Big seesaw game that was, a lot of fun, one of the more fun ones on the channel. Killian throws over, Keeler is back. That one a close call as well. Rossman with a good sweep tag. Killian sets and delivers now. There goes Keeler, the throw down, and Wee Willie Keeler caught stealing. So we've had 2 caught stealings in the game. McGraw caught and Keeler caught. So 2 Orioles gunned down by Bosch Schmidt for the Tigers. Base is empty, 1 away. Steve Brody back in. Here's the 1-0 delivery. Brody gets a little bunt down. Killian has it, runs to the bag, but Brody wins the race. So Steve Brody aboard, and that is the 3rd Baltimore hit. And there is Cousin Ken Castro. He says, nice baseball. Yep, decided to stay in tonight, bud. And hang out with the family a little bit. Huey Jennings now. 335 for the 1894 Baltimore Orioles. 109 ribbies for him, 4 home runs, 37 stolen bases. Jennings in the offseason, a lawyer, very educated man. Steve Brody at first with 42 steals. Again, just incredible speed on this 1894 Baltimore Orioles team. Great hitting, and Killian delivers now. And there's the throw down. Steve Brody slides and gets in ahead of Germany Schaefer's tag. So the Baltimore Orioles pick up a steal here. So 2 steals, 2 caught stealings for the Orioles, playing an aggressive running game here, as you might expect. Jennings back in the box. Killian sets and fires the 0-1 delivery. And Jennings swings in this fastball, but it's going to be a lazy one to center field. Sam Crawford has it. Steve Brody will stay at second. 2 down for the Orioles for Wilbert Robinson, best known to informed baseball fans, the longtime manager of the Brooklyn National League team, named after him for a while, the Brooklyn Robins. They would not become the Dodgers officially until the 1930s. Wilbert Robinson hit 353 in 1894, 98 runs batted in, 12 steals. You know, Cousin Ken, I was thinking about it today. I don't know how much of a player pool we would have, but I would love to do something just strictly 19th century, but trying to pick out a player pool from just the 20 year, right, from 1880 to 1900 is going to be a little tricky in this game, but might try to figure out something, maybe an out of the park baseball. And then we can go back all the way to 1871 and see some, we can see Spalding, and I think it'd be a lot of fun. So I'm going to see what I can sort of dream up for something strictly 19th century as a kind of here and there thing. Brody, good lead at second, 2 away as Killian works to Wilbert Robinson. Here's the 0-2, little spitball chopped to first, and Claude Rossman will race to the bag, and that will be the 3rd out. So side retired, no runs, 2 hits, no errors. We've played 1.5, and we are scoreless here in Detroit. No, we definitely would not, and it would be just fun to see Kid Nichols and Old Haas and Tim Keefe. So something, I do know that is not going to generate a ton of interest in the community, something 19th century, but I still want to do something strictly 19th century. Maybe have Ken provide, maybe get him on the mic every once in a while, or just provide some really cool trivia for 19th century baseball, as I do believe he is our resident expert. So Germany Schaefer, batting in the number 5 slot, will lead it off here for the Tigers here in the bottom of the second. Germany Schaefer hit .258 for the Tigers. A home run, 32 runs batted in. He is 0 for 3 in the tournament thus far. Bill Hawk fires it in. Here's the 3-1 to Schaefer. Schaefer lays off. This one a little bit high, and Germany Schaefer aboard. So Bill Coughlin now, the third baseman for these Detroit Tigers. .243 average for him, 46 ribbies, 80 runs scored. Managed 2 triples that year, no home runs. Schaefer pilfered 21 in 1907. Bill Hawk throws over, Schaefer back easily. Schaefer into his lead again. Hawk checks the runner, fires it home. Coughlin gets the bunt down. Hawk's only play will be to first to Howie Reed's covering. And that is one down, and Heine Reeds, I'm sorry about that. So one away, runner in scoring position for the Detroit Tigers. And here's shortstop Charlie O'Leary, .241 hitter in 1907. He's 2 for 4 in this tournament. Hawk winds and fires the 0-1 to O'Leary. Curveball swung on, chopped to Jennings at short. Jennings to Bruthers for the 6-3 putout, and moving to third on the play is Germany Schaefer. So 2 out. Scoreless tie here in the bottom of the second, but Detroit threatening. And here's catcher Bosch Schmidt. Hit .244 in 1907. He batted in 23. And he is 1 for 4 in the tournament. Schmidt bats a lefty. Hawk from the stretch. The 2-0. Schmidt cuts on this one. Base hit. Joe Kelly has it, and Bosch Schmidt will pick up the RBI as Germany Schaefer comes in to score. And the Detroit Tigers jump out to a 1-0 lead here in the bottom of the second. So Detroit looking to even up this best of 3. And here's pitcher Ed Killian. A .320 average for Ed Killian in 1907, and that's in 122 at bats. So pretty good hitting pitcher. 11 runs batted in for him. He even had 3 steals. Bosch Schmidt, 8 steals in 1907. Hawk checks the runner. And this one scorched right into the corner for extra bases. Schmidt going around second. He's going to go for 3 as Wee Willie Keeler gives chase. And Killian is going for 3. Schmidt will come in to score. The long throw will hit the cutoff man, Huey Jennings. And Ed Killian picking up a stand-up triple, and the Detroit Tigers now leading the Orioles 2-0. Back at the top of the Detroit order now, and Wahoo Sam Crawford. Single to left, back in the first. Hawk from the stretch to Wahoo Sam in the 1-0. This one sent to deeper right, but Wee Willie Keeler making a fine running catch. But Detroit picks up 2 runs and 2 hits, no errors. And we've played 2, and it's 2-0. 1907 Tigers over the 1894 Baltimore Orioles. And when was the last time in Major League Baseball you saw a pitcher belt a triple? It's been a while. And of course, you know, back in those days, not showing it in this graphic, but we've talked about this before, that you would have fans actually on the field, and there would be a rope there, and there would be the ground rule. Some parks it was a double, some parks it was a triple. So if your guy was up, right, you would move forward so that the ball would get into the crowd. The other team was up, everybody would move back and kind of scrunch against the wall. So kind of fun. Tommy Leach recounting in the glory of their times. And it's repeated in the Ken Burns baseball documentary as well, that the fans were literally part of the game. Fans would rush onto the field all the time, arguing with players, arguing with umpires. It was a really, really, in that respect, a much, much different game. I guess insurance companies and lawyers weren't terribly involved just yet. All right, so Heine Reeds here will lead it off. He's having a great tournament thus far. 3 for 5, including a double. He's batted in 5, and he has scored 2 runs himself. Killian deals to Reeds the 1-1, and this one's going to get down for a base hit. Cobb will play it on the bounce, and Heine Reeds is aboard. So Baltimore picking up hit number 4. Big Cluses highly recommend the anniversary edition of that book with the audio CD-ROM containing the actual interviews themselves. Yes. Anthony from Bleacher Bums Gaming doing a series called Dead Ball Diaries and using the audio book. Really, really good stuff. Love some of the interviews are just fantastic. One that stands out to me is Davy Jones. Just great, great, great stuff. So yes, definitely a great suggestion by Big Clue. And no substitute for hearing it directly in those players' own voices. Couldn't agree more. Could not agree more. So Heine Reeds is at first, 18 steals, as Ed Killian to face pitcher Bill Hawk. Bill Hawk in 1894 for the Baltimore Orioles hit .304 in 92 at bats, but managed 16 runs batted in. So Reeds, good lead at first. Killian checks the runner and throws over, and Reeds is back safely. Reeds, good lead off first again. Killian with a check of the runner. Rossman in at first. Coughlin in at third. Killian brings it home. And there goes Reeds to throw down, and he is safe. So Heine Reeds picking up a steal, and here comes Baltimore now. So Bill Hawk, the pitcher, becomes the potential tying run. And you can see the dimensions of this ballpark, very much like League Park in Cleveland. A very, very, very deep left field, shallower right field. You didn't have that high wall as you did in League Park. And once again, tonight's game brought to you by B.A. Chaplow Lumber. Killian peers over his right shoulder at Heine Reeds. Now looks in, gets the sign from Schmidt. Reeds into his lead. Here's the delivery to Hawk, the 1-0. And Hawk gets a nice bunt down. Schmidt jumps on it, throws on to Germany Schaefer covering, and moving to third on the play is Heine Reeds. So Baltimore now looking to cut this 2-0 lead in half. And we're back at the top of the order for the Baltimore Orioles and Joe Kelly, who grounded first his last time up. Killian works from the stretch, and the 0-1. Kelly cuts on this one, fly ball to center. Crawford going way back on that, makes the catch. Reeds will tag and score. Kelly picking up the run batted in on the sacrifice. And the 1894 Orioles now 2-1. And this is how the other game was. It was very much back and forth. John McGraw 1 for 1. He was also caught stealing. It was an infield single back in the first for Little Napoleon. Ed Killian sets and fires the 3-0 to McGraw, who lays off this one. A very, very close call, low and inside. Killian wanting the call. Umpire just turning his back on him. So Big Dan Bruther's a dangerous bat now. Steps to the plate, and he gave it a ride to deep right. Cobb had to go back some for that ball, a few acres, I think. Killian brings it, throw over. McGraw's back. McGraw was caught stealing his last time on. Killian gazes in, has the sign from Bosch Schmidt. Here's the wind. And this one a pitch out, and McGraw not going. So the count 1 ball, no strikes on Dan Bruthers. Killian brings it home again. And there goes McGraw, the throw down. This one's get past O'Leary, and that's going to be a throwing error on Bosch Schmidt, and John McGraw is at third. So 2 down, and the tying run now just 90 feet away for the 1894 Orioles. Bruther's nothing for one, as we've said. 1-1 pitch from the stretch from Killian. Bruther swings. Fastball sent to right field, but Ty Cobb making another fine catch in right. But the Orioles do pick up a run on one hit. There was one error. We go to the bottom of the third. The 1907 Tigers 2 and the 1894 Orioles 1. John DFW says, do I think upgrading from version 22 to 23 is worth the price? Yes. Yes, 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 yes. We're talking about Action PC, of course. Absolutely. It plays more smoothly. More neat, rare plays, by the way, too. There was a game delay the other night, and I had to consult the play-by-play down here, which I rarely look at this thing. And because there was problems with the scoreboard. As you know, the pitcher, that pitcher batter analysis is amazing. So let's just say that I wanted to pinch hit, which I'm not going to, for Davy Jones. So what we could look here is I could look at my left-handed hitters, right-handed hitters, look at their percentages not only for getting a hit, but what type of hit they might get. I could also click on any of these, any of the hitters, and or any of the pitchers over here. So possible relievers from Baltimore, for instance. So I can see how would Jimmy Archer do against Baker or against Horner. I think that's really brilliant. There's excellent mod support in Action PC 2023. The reporting has gotten a lot even more in depth, if that's possible. Yeah, I unreservedly recommend. I mean, even just for the pitcher batter analysis, and it's a great roster tool outside of game as well, John. So if you're experimenting with lineups, you want to see, let's say we'll bring it into more modern baseball, and you're going to be facing Bob Gibson. Well, maybe you want to tailor your lineup. How is a specific lineup going to do against Bob Gibson, for instance? I really like that, and that is a wonderful new addition to Action PC 2023. I buy it every year anyhow, but this is so good. I do have the other two installed still. I know Steve keeps a couple of the earlier editions installed too. But yeah, I do recommend it, John. You're most welcome. And again, if anything, I don't know how many seasons you own for this or what you own for it, John. Just get the basic game even. You really don't have to go off for the deluxe. Especially if you got some seasons or the baseball history collection or whatever. A lot of baseball you can play with this, of course. The chalkboard can still be a little rough at times. That's just a sort of perennial thing they're working on. All right, so Davy Jones will lead it off for the Detroit Tigers, followed by Ty Cobb and then Claude Rossman. Davy Jones flied to right back in the first. Bill Hawk has walked a batter, has yet to strike out one. Okay, you own about 12 seasons, and I guess what I would say, John, if you're not really a seasoned replay guy or whatever, you have some other nice inexpensive options. If you pick up the basic game, maybe pick up the set called Baseball's Top 160 Teams. That's going to give you tons of baseball. The baseball history collection is brilliant. Obviously, there's so many wonderful special sets he does. You can just pick up a best of decades or just pick up an entire decade. I bought everything, but it took me from 2017 to now, and actually there's one season I don't own in this, and that's 2022. I haven't picked it up yet, but I will have to for our Howie Shags League, because I would feel very badly using a file for a season I don't have, because I'm running the games. But yeah, the baseball history collection is amazing, infinite possibilities just by itself. Or if you have the money, you can buy Baseball Complete, and that's everything. Every season, I should say. And MV can tell you more about that, as he just bought it all at once. It took me 6 years to buy everything for this game. Hawk delivers now to Davy Jones. Here's the 2-2. Jones, base hit. Keeler up with it. It's a base hit to right. Willie Keeler gets it into Heine Reeds. And Davy Jones aboard. So these teams tied in hits. Detroit with 1 error. Baltimore none. And Detroit leading 2-1. Davy Jones definitely has some speed. So 30 steals. Ty Cobb is nothing for 1. Grounded to third. Bill Hawk delivers. The 0-1 to Cobb. Cobb swings, gets the bunt down. Hawk's play will be to first. Heine Reed's covering on the play. Davy Jones will move into scoring position for Detroit. And 1 out here at the bottom of the 3rd inning. In fairness, the exchange rate does favor the pound sterling. Dave has so many sales, and as far as baseball complete, I just want to buy it just to support Dave Cook's excellent work. So, but I am going to wait till Black Friday or around Christmas, end of the year, to buy it. And yeah, I know it seems silly to buy what I already have, but he's such a good developer. All right, so Claude Rossman is nothing for 1. Yep, that's what just decade or 2 at a time. It's the way I did it, Big Clue. It's the only way I really could do it. It was just, things would come up that I just didn't have $500 lying around or $400 lying around. So, all right, so Claude Rossman now in the box. And it occurs to me, Ken, that since I have a separate sort of league file for this, that is essentially the 1800s complete. Again, it's that just, 1880 to 1900. Might be interesting to make a 19th century draft league. I'm kind of turning some ideas around in my head and going to be looking at David Nemec's great encyclopedia of 19th century baseball to maybe kick some ideas up as well. So we shall see. Another option, of course, is baseball for Windows. All right, which has everything. Hawk delivers now to Rossman, the 2-1. Curveball, Rossman chops on this. Hawk off the hill onto Dan Bruthers. Nice play there by Bill Hawk on the 1-3 putout. Davy Jones stays frozen at second. 2 down. Baltimore holding its own here, surprisingly. Germany Schaefer walked back in the second. Bill Hawk rears and fires now. Payoff pitch to Germany Schaefer. Fastball chopped to second. Heine Reeds with a little underhanded toss to Dan Bruthers to retire Schaefer. And the Tigers. And we go to the top of the 4th, and your score remains 2-1 in favor of Detroit. Oh my God, right? Big Clue, I didn't know you played Frosthaven or Gloomhaven, whatever. Oh my God, dude. You know what we should do? You're on the new channel. Let me know if you would be up to it. If you have digital Gloomhaven, I have the board game, but I also picked up digital Gloomhaven. It's actually the game, the complete game plus a lot of extras. I'd love to do some Gloomhaven on the new channel. So let me know if that's something you'd like to do. Maybe if some other people get interested. I know we have some other RPG folk around here, board gamers. Maybe we can get something going, pick a night of the week, and play Gloomhaven on PC. And MV saying that his best purchase ever was the Baseball Complete Action PC. For me, it would have been the Baseball History Collection. But yeah, Baseball Complete, you pretty much got it all, except you still have to buy the Baseball History Collection too. I still think that that's a necessary purchase, and what a great deal that thing is. Willie Keeler 1 for 1. Keeler grounded a single between first and second. You know, another one I wanted to get, Tabletop Geek Squad, why not? Big Clue. Also, man, if you got Tabletop Simulator, we're going to town. Yeah, it is appropriate, I think, the Baseball Geek Squad. But if you have Tabletop Simulator, Tabletopia, man, let's rock. Let's play some good tabletop. One I've been dying to try, and I just looked at it, and the price for it on eBay for the analog board game, Euthia Torments of Resurrection. Somebody's selling for like $635, the Kickstarter all in. Almost jumped on it, but I want to get a PS5. But it's available on Tabletopia and also on Tabletop Simulator. So let me know, man, but I'd love to do some Gloomhaven. Tough game, but great stuff. All right, Ed Killian now. Here's the 0-2. Wee Willie Keeler, chopper down to third. Claude Rossman will wave off Killian and take it to the bag himself to retire Keeler for out number 1. Steve Brody 1 for 1. Bunt single back in the second. And Killian toes the rubber and the 1-2. Brody cuts on this one, lined. A little soft liner right to third baseman Coughlin. So 2 up, 2 down for the Baltimore Orioles for Eot Jennings. Jennings flied to left center his last time up. Ed Killian delivers now the 1-0. And Jennings, little weak chopper to Schaefer, but this is going to be close. Schaefer up with it, and they do just get Jennings by half a step. Side retired, and we go to the bottom of the 4th, and the score remains the same. Always think about the song remains the same. That great documentary about Led Zeppelin. So Bill Coughlin leads it off here for the Detroit Tigers, and then Charlie O'Leary and Boss Schmidt. Coughlin in the contest now. Have a look at him really quickly. It's 2 for 4 for him. Hawk works now to him. The 0-2. Coughlin, clean base hit to right. Keeler and Brody converging, but Keeler getting to the ball quickly. So Coughlin aboard for Charlie O'Leary. The shortstop is 0 for 1 for the Tigers. Grounded to short. Tigers with a 2-1 lead. Coughlin at first. Has some speed. Rather conservative lead. Hawk checks the runner, winds and fires. O'Leary bunts in the first pitch. McGraw coming in quickly on that ball, but they're not going to get O'Leary. That is a bunt single, and the Tigers with 2 aboard and no one out. Coughlin at second, O'Leary at first for Boss Schmidt. The Detroit catcher, RBI single, scoring Germany Schaefer, making it 1-0 Detroit back in the second. Detroit with plate 2 in that inning. Both players into their lead as Hawk brings it home. The 1-2. Schmidt cuts on the spitball. This one, McGraw up with it to Reitz on the pivot to Bruthers, and that will be quick 2 outs. Coughlin makes it to third, and here's pitcher Ed Killian. Killian, RBI triple, scoring Boss Schmidt, making it 2-0 Detroit. From the stretch, Hawk brings it home. The 2-0 to Ed Killian. Killian swings, chopper up the middle, Reitz up with it on to Bruthers to retire Ed Killian. So no runs, 2 hits, no errors. The Tigers do not capitalize on the runner in scoring position. 4 complete here at Bennett Park, and it's Detroit 2, Baltimore 1. Wilbert Robinson, Heine Reitz, and Hawk do up. And also, for Action PC players, you might forget this. In fact, Steve Tate has been playing this game since before hair was invented and forgot about this little, or didn't know about this little deal. Mouse over any inning, and you get to see a recap of the inning, which is really cool. See here what the batter does, and if you just go up and touch the scoreboard, you get the box score as it's being played out. So I think this would make Henry Chadwick smile. Anyhow, let's hide this. But I love this feature. This is such a cool feature. So just a little reminder for Action PC players. Robinson 0 for 1 facing Ed Killian here. Killian with just a walk. He's not struck out a batter yet. Fires it in. The 1-2 pitch. Robinson. Grounder to short. And O'Leary making the nice toss on to Claude Rossman for out number 1, retiring Wilbert Robinson. Heine Reitz 1 for 1. Single between first and second. Hoping Ken Castro's still hanging out with us here. He's being very, very quiet with baseball that's right in his wheelhouse and mine. Killian comes home with it, the 1-0. Reitz, base hit, left field, past the diving Charlie O'Leary at short. Davy Jones up with it, and the ball back in. So Reitz on first, one down for pitcher Bill Hawk. Killian sets it fire, throws over, and Reitz dives back in, and he is safe ahead of Rossman's tag. So Rossman charging back to first to get the throw from Killian. Rossman in at first, Coughlin in at third, looking bunt from hitter Bill Hawk. Here is the pitch. There goes Reitz, the throw down by Schmidt. Schmidt up gunning, but Reitz winning this foot race. So Baltimore once again with a runner in scoring position. PQ Rivers says he's resting his brains here. Very, very good. MV says the history collection is awesome too. It is. There's lots of things that you can do a lot easier with a history collection. Again, like our Ned McGreevy League, would have been a lot harder to do just by seasons. Decidedly different game than the first. Ken, this one close. Big Clue said he did 10 sims of the Shanks League today. All I'm going to say is, damn, does Mr. Tate ever have a tough pitching staff. That pitching staff of his is ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Okay. So Reitz at second. And yeah, you're right, Ken. This was a wild one, the first game. Killian sets and delivers the 0-1 to Hawk. Hawk swings. This one, a weak little grounder. And Rossman, who was in, throws it on to Schaefer to retire Hawk. So that was a neat little play. Let's look at that one again. So Hawks, Rossman has it, and then the quick shovel over to Ed Killian, actually coming in covering from the mound. So nice little play by the Tigers. Reitz makes it to third. So potential tying run for the Orioles just 90 feet away. Killian will work from the stretch to Joe Kelly as we return to the top of the order for the Orioles. Kelly sacrificed back in the third, scoring Heine Reitz. And that has been the lone Baltimore run. Tight ball game here. The 3-0 to Joe Kelly. Joe Kelly lays off. This one high and wide. So Kelly aboard runners at the corners for the Orioles. For John McGraw. McGraw 1 for 1. He singled and walked, was caught stealing. Killian from the stretch in the 0-2. McGraw, base hit, an RBI. Single will score Heine Reitz. And the Baltimore Orioles have tied it up 2-2 here in the top of the fifth inning. So if you're rooting for the Orioles, things looking nice. This could be, I don't want to say an upset, but the Orioles definitely overcoming some very, 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 very weak pitching. And making each game a contest. The other one a little bit more of a heart racer than this one, that's for sure. 2-6-0 for Baltimore, 2-6-1 for Detroit. Detroit has stranded 4. Baltimore has stranded 2. McGraw at first, Kelly at third. McGraw threat to steal even with 2 down. Killian checks the runners from the stretch. He sets and delivers the 1-1. Fastball, Bruthers, lazy fly ball to center into the glove of Wahoo Sam Crawford. However, Baltimore ties it up with a run on 2 hits, no errors. 4.5 in the books here at Bennett Park in Detroit, and we're tied at 2. As PQ Rivers says that he's been an old-time radio jag. Nice. 2 good channels out there, of course, Classic Baseball on the radio. There's another one called Old is Best, which is really neat. Has some great old broadcasts, some baseball, but a lot of other stuff as well. But we were talking a lot last night, the Royal Gelatin Hour. We were talking, some of these, I mean, I don't remember any of those, but it's neat to hear them. But we were talking a lot about classic baseball on the radio last night, and what a brilliant YouTube channel that one is. Sam Crawford 1 for 2. And I mean, I think has a lot of subscribers, so nice to see it that there's a desire to listen to some older baseball. Granted, you really can't go before 1921, and in fact, I don't know that 1921 Pittsburgh Pirate broadcast is even on there. But I think the earliest one I saw there is 1934. 1934-35, I think, is the earliest game on classic baseball on the radio, if memory serves. Hawk delivers to Wahoo Sam, the 3-0. Crawford lays off. It's the second walk issued by Bill Hawk in the game. So Crawford aboard for Davy Jones, who's sporting a 1-for-2. He's fly to right and single to right. Steve Tate, welcome in. Big Clue asking, old is best, is that Ken's channel? Oh my God. This Big Clue greeting Steve Tate with a, there's my favorite spreadsheet swashbuckler. Big Clue talking about your team. He said he simmed Shanks, how he Shanks League 10 times. And I will quote Big Clue. He says, damn, does Mr. Tate ever have a tough pitching staff? Man has Koufax and Gibson and Newhouser and Mike's. We just keep going on and on and on. Crazy pitching staff. So Hawk works home now to Davy Jones. Here's the 1-2. Jones swings. Hard ground ball, but Reed's taking it on a nice bounce. Crawford's hard slide will break up a potential double play, however. So Davy Jones aboard for Ty Cobb. Nothing for one. He did sacrifice in the third. Hawk works home. There goes Davy Jones, and Cobb swinging for the fences. And this one twisting foul on the left-hand side. Cobb really just hit that one on the button. But perhaps just a tad too late. The lefty back in the box, the 0-1 to Ty Cobb. There goes Davy Jones, the throw down by Wilbert Robinson. And Davy Jones caught stealing, so 2 away. Base is empty. Cobb back in the box. Here's the pitch. Cobb swings. This one lined, but right to John McGraw at third, and that ends the inning for Detroit. No runs, no hits, no errors. We've played 5, and it's the Baltimore Orioles 2, the Detroit Tigers 2. Willie Keeler, Steve Brody, and Huey Jennings, the number 4, 5, 6 hitters, due up for the 1894 Orioles. So Steve Tate says he has his team done. He's doing player photos. Nice. All right, Keeler batting a lefty will face Killian here. Ed Killian has walked 2 in the game. Neither pitcher. I don't think we have any strikeouts. I don't think that Bill Hawk has struck out anybody either. I don't think. Can I look at him from here? No, I can't. Oh, yes, I can. Nope. All right. Killian brings it to 3-0. Keeler lays off. Ball 4. So Keeler aboard. And we'll see if the Baltimore Orioles play some station-to-station baseball here. Again, emblematic of both the 19th century and the dead ball era. Lots of small ball. Steve Brody, nothing for 2. Bunt single and lined out. Killian brings it. Keeler's going. Schmidt, the hit and run on the comebacker to the mound. Killian quickly on to Claude Rossman covering at first. So the hit and run not working, but accomplishes the same thing as a sacrifice as Willie Keeler, who's into scoring position for Huey Jennings, who's flied out and grounded out. You look at the Hall of Famers on this team, it's ridiculous. So you got, just crazy for this 1894 Baltimore Orioles team. Keeler, aggressive lead off of second. Here's the 0-2. And we have a hit batsman. We've only had 1 game in this tournament where we haven't had a hit batter. So Huey Jennings plunked, and he's aboard. And that brings up Wilbert Robinson, who's nothing for two. He's grounded out twice. Killian with 2 on. That he has to deal with. Schmidt sets the target. Killian twirls it. The 2-0. This one gets past Bosch Schmidt, and the runners will move up now. Keeler at third, Jennings at second. They're going to score that one, a wild pitch on Killian. And Keeler and Jennings both with excellent speed. Robinson just needs to put the ball in play, and the Baltimore Orioles can jump out to a 3-2 lead. 1 down. Here's the 3-0 to Robinson. Killian brings it. Spitball, and this one hit on the left side. Killian off the mound to his left, so Robinson had hoped to hit that to the right side, to no avail. Now 2 downs, and Heine Reeds, who's a perfect 2 for 2 today, including 2 steals, needs to make a safe hit for Baltimore to take the lead. The lefty waits for the Killian delivery. Detroit battery ready to go. Here's the 1-1. Reed swings on this curve. This one should end the inning. Down into the glove of Ty Cobb in right field. So the Baltimore Orioles failing to capitalize on 2 runners in scoring position, and we head to the bottom of the 6th inning, and we are knotted at 2. Claude Rossman, Germany Schaefer, and Coughlin due up. Bill Coughlin. Bill Hawk ready to deal. Here it comes, the 0-2. Rossman sends this fastball, base hit to right field. Keeler up with it. That's hit number 7 for the Tigers. And here's Germany Schaefer, walked and grounded out. And there's Robbie Wartburg giving us a hello. Our 2 commissioners for the Howie Shanks League, Big Clue and Steve Tate, discussing trading. I have not submitted my name for team name and ballparks yet, but I'm already claiming the city, so Mudville. I don't know what I'm going to be yet, but naming my team Mudville whatever. Could be the Mudville Nines, actually. Why not? Any parks that you guys choose, just remember that we have to, if you can, and you know it's not Action PC Baseball, if you could please post an image of it in the Discord. That way we can get it into the game. That would be awesome. If you say so, Big Clue. Anyhow, Rossman at first. And here's Germany Schaefer. He's nothing for 1. Grounded to second, back in the 3rd. Hawk brings it now to Schaefer. Schaefer, little bunt. Hawk's only play will be to Howie Reed's cover, or Heine Reed's covering on the play. So 1 out, and Claude Rossman in scoring position at second. Tigers threatening with 1 down, and Bill Coughlin. He is 1 for 1. Single to right center back in the 4th. Yeah, got to think about a ballpark. Definitely got to think of a ballpark for it, but I really will. PQ River saying strange work week and more to come. This is a haven. Thank you. That means a lot to me. A lot to me, PQ. It's really what I want it to be. And you guys make it all that happen too. So awesome stuff. Yeah, I've got to think of a ballpark, Steve. I have to look at my, I need to look and see, is my pitching's not the greatest? My team's not the greatest. I've got to find the right ballpark. So I will definitely let you know, my friend. So I will do Mudville Nines. Mudville Nines will be my team. As far as team colors, I would like to go black and white, if I may. And Steve, just to let you know, the only season I don't own is 2022. I will be picking that up because I don't feel right, even though you're doing me a huge favor by actually setting the league up, since I'm going to be at least doing a lot of this on my channel. I would feel kind of guilty not owning the 2022 season. So just to let you know, I will be picking that up, and then we'll be all straight up. Rossman at second, moving into his lead now. Heine Reed's kind of cheating in beside him. Hawk brings it home now to Bill Coughlin. Coughlin swings, base hit to right. This one is going to score Rossman as Keeler is up with no. They're going to hold Rossman. So Huey Jennings technically in this game twice playing short for the Baltimore Orioles of 1894, but managing these 1907 Tigers. So holding Rossman, runners at the corners, and that brings up Charlie O'Leary. Bunt single back in the fourth for O'Leary. Robinson sets up, Hawk from the stretch, and the 1-1 pitch to Charlie O'Leary. And the shortstop lazy fly ball to Steve Brody in center, tagging is Rossman, and he will come home to score. So O'Leary with the sacrifice, and the Detroit Tigers now take a 3-2 lead here in the bottom of the sixth inning. Detroit looking to even it up against the Orioles here. And here is Bosch Schmidt, the man who wears the tools of ignorance for the Detroit Tigers. RBI single back in the second, and then grounded into a double play in the fourth. Coughlin at first, 2 away. Hawk checks the runner. There goes Coughlin, the throw down. And Coughlin hasn't stolen. Robinson looked like he had trouble getting it out of the glove. Coughlin gets the easy steal. So Detroit with a runner in scoring position, 1 in the bottom of the sixth inning. Nice crowd here at Bennett Park in Detroit, Michigan. Schmidt in there now, and here is the 0-1. And Schmidt draws the walk. This one in the dirt, a little worm killer by Bill Hawk. Doubt that he's showing any signs of fatigue, but let's look. So Hawk looking strong out there, but definitely killed some fishing bait there in front of the plate. Killian in there now, and Killian has himself a triple RBI, scoring Bosch Schmidt back in the second. He grounded to second in the fourth. Hawk with a check of the runners. Robinson trots out, has a quick word with Hawk. Now back in. Bill Hawk's 1-1 delivery. Big boo here. Spitball. Base hit by George Killian. Coughlin will score, and they're going to hold Schmidt at third. So Detroit now with the Ed Killian base hit RBI, and the Tigers now leading 4-2. Sam Crawford 1 for 2. Runners at the corners, 2 away. Killian at first, Schmidt at third. Hawk from the stretch delivers to Wahoo Sam Crawford, the 0-1. Crawford swings clean, base hit to right. Crawford going for 2, and he's in there, and coming around to score is Ed Killian. And now Detroit's busting it open here. It is 6-2 here in the bottom of the sixth. Detroit plating 4. But we saw the Orioles in game 1 come back from a serious deficit. So at this point, this game far from over. Ty Cobb waits on deck as Davy Jones steps in with 2 down. Davy Jones has flied out, singled to right, and grounded to second. Crawford with good speed at second. Here's Hawk's delivery to Davy Jones. Jones chopper to third. McGraw up with it. The throw across the diamond. It's close, and Davy Jones got by a quarter of a step. Side retired, but 4 big runs for the Tigers and 4 hits, no errors. 6 in the books here at Bennett Park. And it is 6-2 Detroit. And the Baltimore Orioles will send up Bill Hawk, Joe Kelly, and John McGraw. Thank you, Windows Defender, for not finding any threats. Appreciate that. I think I'm the only person who talks to Windows Defender. So we really can't It's the AI playing anyhow. It'd be interesting to see if the AI at this point will, and actually it'd be Ned Hanlon managing his 1894 Orioles. So Ned Hanlon, Cole Hawk, not a deep bullpen, and really not any good pitchers on this team. Let's see what happens. Hawk will pitch. Killian delivers, and this one on the outside corner. So that's the first strikeout by any pitcher in this game. Killian picks up K number 1. Not sure. Oh yeah, it's fine. I'd rather it work than not. But well, there's Aaron Reed, the man of a billion voices, considering a career now doing voiceovers. Killian now will pitch to Joe Kelly back at the top of the Baltimore Oriole order. Kelly swings fastball, chopped to second, or chopped to short, and Charlie O'Leary, that ball just too hot off his glove, and he drops it. Goes to make the transfer, and that is an E6, and Joe Kelly is aboard. Here's the pitch now to John McGraw, perfect 2 for 2. Little number to short. O'Leary onto Rossman. McGraw tearing down the line, and they get him. So 2 down, Joe Kelly in scoring position. The Orioles do have a little bit of work to do. Dan Bruthers a frustrated 0 for 3. He has flied out all 3 times. And Killian's 3-1, and Bruthers draws the walk. It's walk number 4 for Detroit hurler Ed Killian. And it sets the stage now for wee Willie Keeler. Keeler would surely love a nice extra base hit right here. Get the Orioles back in the game. He is single, grounded to first, and walked. 1 for 2 for Keeler. Killian with the 1-2. Fastball swung on, grounded to short. O'Leary to Schaefer to retire the side. Middle of the 7th, the 1907 Detroit Tigers 6, the 1894 Baltimore Orioles 2. MV staying with the Manchester Red Bolts. Folks, so bottom of the 7th, and as Ken Castro said earlier, this game markedly different from game 1 between these 2 teams, and I think we're going to just ease into a doubleheader if nobody minds. I stayed in, so might as well do a doubleheader, and I think we're starting over now. I have to check, but I think we'll be going back for the Philadelphia A's and Boston Red Sox. Those teams tied at 1 each, so I think it'd be a good nightcap. Waiting for the stadium mod to start doing some stuff with Auto Park baseball. But it's a beauty. Pick it up. It is a beauty. Ty Cobb will lead it off here, followed by Claude Rossman and Germany Schaefer. Ty Cobb is 0 for 2. The Georgia Peach has grounded out, bunted out, and lined out. Bill Hawk with 3 walks. Here is the wind and the 3-1 delivery. Fastball. Cobb sends this one to the wall for extra bases. Keeler giving chase. Cobb tearing around first. Cobb tearing around second. Keeler's throw to cutoff man Reach. Reach throw to third. McGraw with the tag, not in time. And Ty Cobb with a triple. So here come the Motor City Cats, all arriving at work in their Model Ts today. Turbocharged, it would seem. So Claude Rossman 1 for 3, looking to bring in Mr. Cobb. It is rumored that Mr. Cobb is investing in a little Georgia soft drink company down there. Pemberton, Georgia, I believe it is. A company called Coca-Cola. Don't know Mr. Cobb investing outside of baseball. Could that be foolish? Hawk from the stretch to Claude Rossman in the 2-0 delivery. Rossman swings, clean base hit to left. Rossman tearing for 2, and he's got an RBI double to score Ty Cobb, and it's 7-2 Detroit. So Detroit on the verge of evening this series at 1 apiece. It's a best of 3. And just loving the fact that, so Ken Castro said he's ready. He's going to hit the shower and then be back. So good. We'll have a couple people hanging out for game 2. The 1911 Philadelphia A's, 1912 Boston Red Sox. Settling the score now. One of them will move ahead. And then round 2 is a best of 5. Hawk works now to Schaefer. Here's the 0-2 to Germany. Schaefer, base hit, left field. Rossman starts to come around third, but they're going to hold up Claude Rossman again. Runners at the corners. Now, will this inning turn out to be a carbon copy of the 6th for Detroit when they played it 4? Bill Coughlin, a perfect 2 for 2 today. Sacrifice and 2 singles. Germany Schaefer, decent lead off first, a little bit of a staggering lead. Germany Schaefer, a bit of a drinker and prankster. Hawk from the stretch in the 0-1. Bill Coughlin cuts on this one, and this one fouled back. 0-2 now from Bill Hawk. Coughlin cuts on this one, grounder to Reitz to Jennings. Jennings on the pivot to Dan Bruthers, and that will be a double play, but Rossman will come in to score the 8th run for the Detroit Tigers. Bases empty for shortstop Charlie O'Leary. Sacrificed in the 6th, scoring Claude Rossman. At that time, and making it Detroit 3, Baltimore 2 in that 6th inning that would end up 4 runs for the Detroit Tigers. Bill Hawk with the 0-1. O'Leary, lazy fly ball to left or to right, and Willie Keeler makes the catch, side retired. But 2 more Detroit runs cross the dish. 3 hits, there were no errors. 7 in the books, and it's 8-2 Detroit. Only 2 errors in this game. And by the dead ball team, the 19th century team, playing errorless. So Ed Killian to start the 8th inning here. 1 strikeout, 4 walks. He will face Steve Brody, Huey Jennings, and Wilbert Robinson. Killian sets and fires the 2-0. Brody swings on this curveball. Coughlin up with into third, over to Claude Rossman to retire Brody for out number 1. E.I. Jennings being managed by Ned Hanlon and managing the Tigers. So there's our Kevin Bacon degrees of separation. Jennings was plunked by Killian back in the 6th. Killian rubbing up the misshapen ball, fires it home, the 1-0, fastball, base hit, right field, so Huey Jennings is aboard. Jennings has wheels, and here's Wilbert Robinson. 3 failed attempts at the plate, and he is grounded out to first, to short, and to the pitcher. Killian checks Jennings at first. Here's the wind in the 0-2 pitch. Robinson swings, grounder to short. O'Leary to Schaefer to Rossman, pitcher's best friend. The inning-ending double play. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Detroit with a commanding 8-2 lead over the Orioles. And due up for the 1907 Bengals, Bosch Schmidt, and Killian, and Sam Crawford. Schmidt 1 for 2 in the contest. RBI back in the 2nd. Bill Hawk has walked 3, grounded to Reitz at 2nd, and the shuttle toss onto Bruce at first for out number 1. Ed Killian having a great day, 2 for 3, an RBI triple and an RBI single. So Killian gets the win today, should that happen, he's going to get it defensively and offensively. Should be MVP of the game. And even before I look, if Detroit wins it, I'm calling it Ed Killian getting MVP honors for today's game. Bill Hawk delivers curveball, and this one going to the wall. Killian is going for 3. Could this be his second triple? McGraw's tag not in time. Ed Killian, the pitcher, with 2 triples in this game. Absolutely astounding. So Detroit threatening here again. 1 out, and Killian just 90 feet away. Sam Crawford is 2 for 3 today. 2 RBI double back in the 6th, scoring Boss Schmidt and Ed Killian. I almost keep saying George Killian after the beer. It's Ed Killian. Bill Hawk winds from the stretch. Count even on Crawford. And Crawford, this one in at the belt for a called strike 3. 2 down for Davy Jones now. Jones has been successful once in 4 attempts, and that was a single back in the 3rd. Killian coming down the line a little bit as Hawk works from the stretch in the 2-0. Jones, lazy fly ball to shallow center. Steve Brody has it. Side retired. So Detroit turned away this time. 8 in the books here at Bennett Park. And Detroit Tigers looking to even up this round 1 against the Baltimore Orioles of 1894. Their score is 8-2. Heine Reitz, good day for him for Baltimore. 2 for 3, including 2 steals. Ed Killian sets and deals. Reitz, little grounder to Germany Schaefer at second. On to Claude Rossman. Textbook 4-3 putout, 1 away for Bill Hawk. Struck out back in the 7th. Killian fires the 3-0, and actually Frank Bonner comes in. So let's look at Frank Bonner just really quickly. Another above 300 hitter for these 1894 Baltimore Orioles. Bonner now on first, drawing the walk, hit 322 in 1894 with 24 RBI, 12 stolen bases. His on-base percentage was .407. And he's got serious wheels, by the way. So we'll see some, possibly, something aggressive here by Baltimore. As the Detroit battery will be watching Frank Bonner very closely. Joe Kelly having an off night for him. Joe Kelly, nothing for 3. Does have an RBI, sacrifice back in the 3rd, scoring Heine Reitz. Giving Baltimore its first run. Baltimore played 1 more in the 5th for Detroit. 2 in the 2nd, 4 in the 6th, 2 in the 7th. Schmidt sets up. Killian brings it home. The 2-1. Joe Kelly swings, fouled on the 3rd base side. Count even now on Joe Kelly. Killian brings it. And this one smacked hard to the wall in right. And Bonner will come around from first to score. Kelly going for 3. The throw comes into Shea for the cutoff man, and Joe Kelly is safe. RBI triple, and Baltimore picks up run number 3. As everybody's still, and there's D. Scott Howard. Welcome in, D. Scott. Good to see you. And PQ Ribbon and I, we got to get together and talk some music sometime. 2 musicos, talk some music theory and coolness. Modes, I'm into modes, man. All right, and we have some weirdness going on here. Let me see what's going on. No data. Did we drop out? Nope, we're back. Sorry for the dropout there, guys. Anyhow, PQ didn't hear that. Would love to talk some music with him sometime. Not receiving. What is going on here tonight? Not receiving a video. Killian delivers to McGraw. McGraw swings, base hit. And to center field, McGraw up with the ball. Joe Kelly will come in to score. And John McGraw picking up the RBI single. And I do not know if you guys are even hearing me anymore. Stream is very, very poor. It is showing working on YouTube, so we'll see. Let's go back to our analytics, and I have no idea. And he says he will talk music whenever. So this is really bizarre because I'm getting a good connection here from OBS, but a lousy one on YouTube. So I don't know if this is a YouTube thing or what's going on. Big Clue saying hearing me loud and clear. Everybody's saying hearing me and seeing what's going on in the ball field. So we're gonna sally forth. Now it's back to excellent connection. I think the wankers across the hall are probably doing some weird stuff. Anyhow, Baltimore trying to make it a game here in the ninth, rallying back, plating 2. It's now 8-4. Still Detroit with a lot of breathing room. McGraw at first. McGraw caught stealing today. And Ed Killian deals to Big Dan Bruther's curveball, and Bruther's liner right to Sam Crawford. No, Crawford plays it on the short hop. That one was on the short hop. It looked from here as though Crawford caught the ball, but had to take it on the short hop. McGraw moves to second. Bruther's at first. And Baltimore, are they staging a comeback? One down. Killian looking for a game-ending double play here as Wee Willie Keeler comes to the plate. 1 for 3. Master of the Baltimore chop, great bunter, responsible for the foul strike rule, really. Ed Killian brings it home. Schmidt out to talk to Killian really quickly. Umpire says play ball. Here we go. Killian delivers. Keeler, base hit up the middle. Crawford has it. McGraw coming around third, but they're going to flash well, they didn't have a stop sign back in those days. Bases loaded for the Baltimore Orioles. Now this one may be a little too late, but reminiscent of the first meeting between these two teams. Steve Brody 1 for 4. If Baltimore somehow can tie this game here in the ninth, that would be something that would be astounding. Hey, picked up a second like. Thanks, guys. Killian now working from the stretch to Steve Brody. Here comes the 2-1 pitch. Steve Brody swings. Routine fly ball. Sam Crawford has it. McGraw tags, and McGraw will come in to score. So the sacrifice, and that's the third run in now in the ninth inning for the Baltimore Orioles, and it's 8-5. So Baltimore trying to claw its way back, but now 2 outs. Bruther's at second, Keeler at first for Huey Jennings. I believe he did, actually. I do believe that Steve Brody actually did jump off the Brooklyn Bridge, yeah. Steve Tate reminding us, telling us, guys, that he will show up the updated teams, logos, photos, etc. on his daytime broadcast tomorrow. All right, nice. And I'll be able to catch that. So looking forward to a live Steve Tate broadcast. Don't know when it's going to happen. Maybe Steve knows. So looking forward to it, Steve. And again, to you and Big Clue, thank you for your amazing work for all of this and to all the managers out there. All right. It's up to Huey Jennings to keep this alive here. Baltimore mounting a comeback. It's now 8-5. Baltimore was down 8-2 coming into the ninth. Played at 3. Ed Killian sets and deals the 0-1 to Huey Jennings, and this should end the game. Grounded O'Leary to Schaefer, and that's it. And the 1907 Detroit Tigers stave off a late game comeback or attempt by the Baltimore Orioles to take this one 8-5 and even the series at 1 game each. Let's look at our recap, and then we'll take a little break, chat a little baseball, and go into our nightcap once we know that Cousin Ken is back. So for the victorious Detroit Tigers, 8 runs, 14 hits, 2 errors, For the 1894 Baltimore Orioles, 5 runs, 11 hits, and no errors. Ed Killian gets the win for Detroit, 1-0 now in the tournament. And Bill Hawk takes the loss for the Orioles. He is 0-1. Highlights for Baltimore. Little Napoleon John McGraw went 3 for 4 with 2 runs batted in. Heine Reitz 2 for 4, including 2 steals. Joe Kelly 1 for 4, 2 runs batted in. And for the 1907 Tigers, Bill Coughlin 2 for 3 with a steal. The Georgia Peach 1 for 3 with a triple. And how about Ed Killian 3 for 4, and 2 of those hits were triples. 2 runs batted in. Joe Kelly had a triple for the Orioles. Detroit a little bit better on extra base hits. 2 doubles, one by Sam Crawford, one by Claude Rossman, and then, of course, the triple. And I forgot about the, well, it looks like it didn't, did it do it for Killian? Yeah, 2 triples. So 3 triples by the Detroit Tigers. So let's look at pitching. Hawk went 8 innings, 8 runs, all earned. Walked 3, struck out 1. ERA now at 9.00. And Ed Killian went 9, 11 hits, 5 runs, all earned. So errors not costing Detroit anything tonight. 5 walks and 1 strikeout. And I do believe that we said that Mr. Ed Killian will get the MVP. Let's see if the game agrees. And the MVP is Ed Killian also. All right, guys, going off mic just for a moment. We went from 72 degrees here in Pennsylvania to a big nasty front moving in. So just got to get some heat generating in this room. I'll be right back. So hang tight, please. And let's go to our playoff bracket. And indeed, we're going to be making our return to Boston. Be right back, guys. All right, nice crowd here for some rare Saturday night baseball on this channel. As most of you know, I'm usually doing music on Saturday nights, but took the night off. So here we are in round 1, and one team has been eliminated, and that's the 1914 Miracle Braves. They were defeated by the 1919 Cincinnati Reds 2-0. Cincinnati goes on to face the 1907 Chicago Cubs, and we'll see Johnny Evers on each team. Couldn't avoid doppelgangers completely. The Providence Grays are waiting for the outcome of tonight's games. They got a bye in round 1. And for our nightcap, tied at 1 game apiece, the 1911 Philadelphia Athletics and the 1912 Boston Red Sox. Just check in a little bit here. This is Saturday night. And see what is going on around the tube of you. And not much. Not much, not much. All right, let's get to a newly opened Fenway Park in Boston, Massachusetts. And here we go. Should be a pretty good game, and we'll go through it all. So welcome to a very, very early Fenway. This is again one of those the Gary Grigsby renderings. Fatima Cigarettes. brings you this nightcap. Two great teams of the dead ball era. And one of them will go on to face Ken Castro's 1884 Providence Grays. The starting defense for the 1912 Boston Red Sox, Duffy Lewis. Duffy's Cliff Zone named for the left fielder. In center field, the Gray Eagle, Tris Speaker. In right field, Harry Hooper. So 2 Hall of Famers out there. And then from third to first on the infield, Larry Gardner at third, Heine Wagner at short, Steve Yerkes at second, Jake Stahl at first, Bill Kerrigan to pitch, and Bill Kerrigan to catch, and Ray Collins will take the hill for the Scarlet Hose. In 1912 for Ray Collins, a 2.53 earned run average, 13 wins, 8 losses, 199 1/3 pitched, 42 walks, 82 strikeouts. Opponents in 1912 hit .263 against Ray Collins. Leading it off here for the 1911 Philadelphia Athletics, Frank Home Run Baker, 334 average in 1911. 11 home runs, 115 runs batted in, 38 steals, and he is 3 for 10 in the tournament. Game time, we have 54 degrees, wind 6 miles per hour from right to left, and we have a light rain falling here in Fenway Park, just opened this season, 1912. Lefty Baker and lefty Collins to face off here. Kerrigan with the sign, and we're ready to go here. The 3-1 pitch coming to Frank Baker. And Baker sends this one deep to center, and Speaker has to play this one off the wall. Baker has a double. Baker going for 3, and the tag by Larry Gardner. It's a leadoff triple by Home Run Baker. So Philadelphia coming out of the rip, and an extra base hit by Home Run Baker, and here's Hall of Famer Eddie Collins. So Collins hit .365 in 1911 for the Mac men. 3 home runs, 73 ribbies, 38 steals. He's 2 for 8, hitting .250 in this tournament. Another lefty batter. Frank Baker, good wheels at third. Collins from the stretch, the 2-0. Eddie Collins swings, shallow fly ball. The Gray Eagle has it. Tagging at third is Frank Baker, and he will hold. Not going to run against the great Tris Speaker. One of the great center fielders of all time. Danny Murphy, 329 average for the Philadelphia Athletics in 1911. 6 home runs, 66 runs batted in, 104 runs scored, and he pilfered 22. Baker perched at third. Philadelphia looking to take an early lead here. Collins brings it home to Danny Murphy. 1-1 spitball. This one line to Speaker at center. Baker will tag, and he will score. That one was deep enough. So the Philadelphia Athletics post a run here in the top of the first. First baseman Stuffy McGinnis. Here's somebody that did make the Ned McGreevy League and should have. In 1911, a .321 average, 77 ribbies, 23 steals. Managed 3 home runs, bases empty, 2 away. Collins deals the 0-1 fastball. McGinnis chops on this one. Heine Wagner hard to his right, making a fine off-balance throw to Jake Stahl to retire Stuffy McGinnis. Great play. But 1 run, 1 hit, no errors. We've played 1/2 inning. It's the 1911 Philadelphia A's 1 and the 1912 Boston Red Sox coming to bat. World's worst gamer coming in and saying hi. Steve Tate said that he thought that MV would go for his team name as the West Virginia Moonshiners. Steve Tate says around 1 to 2 p.m.-ish Eastern Daylight Time. All right, well, that gives us something to look forward to tomorrow afternoon. Tomorrow evening, RJL Network goes to the American League for his 1988 postseason stuff. So check it out. Let's start out with the defense now for the Philadelphia Athletics, the $100,000 infield. So we'll start with them. At first base, Stuffy McGinnis. At second, Eddie Cocky Collins. At short, Blackjack Berry. At third, Home Run Baker. In left field, Briss Lord. In center, Rube Oldring. And in right field, Danny Murphy. And catching, Ira Thomas. Ira Thomas was ejected in game 1 for arguing balls and strikes, by the way. And Cy Morgan will take the hill for the Philadelphia Athletics. Cy Morgan in 1911 posted a 2.70 earned run average, 15 wins, 7 losses, 1 save. He worked 249 and 2/3 innings, walked 113 and struck out 136. Opponents in 1911 hit 244 against the right-hander, Cy Morgan. The Gray Eagle, Tris Speaker, will lead it off here. A .383 batting average in 1912, 10 home runs, 90 runs batted in, 52 steals. Just an incredible player, Tris Speaker. And actually, just to ask, because I need to look in the Discord, but maybe somebody can answer this quickly. Did Tris Speaker make it in the Howie Shanks League? I'm very, very curious. All right, so Cy Morgan winds and fires to the Gray Eagle. Count even on him, and this one a high pop-up on the infield. Blackjack Berry calling for it, waving off Home Run Baker to make the catch for out number 1. Again, just looking to see 10 people in here watching dead ball baseball. Really, and just chatting up baseball. I love it, guys. So have fun. And hopefully Ken Castro gets back out of the shower before this game reaches the middle innings. Third baseman, Larry Gardner. Okay, so Big Clue has the pleasure of Tris Speaker on his roster. I don't know who your other center fielder is, but I'm guessing you're going to be starting Speaker in center. I forget who your other center fielder is. All right, here is Larry Gardner. Larry Gardner hit .315 in 1912, 86 runs batted in, 25 steals, 3 home runs, 18 triples. Oh, so you can switch between Mickey Mantle and Tris Speaker. That's disgusting. That's really disgusting. Because Mantle had speed as well. It wasn't, of course, I don't know the year that you picked Mantle, but Mickey Mantle had some speed. So you got a hell of a center field there. God. What do? You flip a coin. All right, Cy Morgan's delivery, the 1-2 to Larry Gardner. This one smacked to left. Chris Lord quickly up with the throw to Eddie Collins, the tag, and not in time. Larry Gardner with a nice hook slide in there at second, and we'll pick up the 1-out double. So tying run in scoring position for the 1912 Red Sox is Jake Stahl steps in. The first baseman hit .301 in 1912 for the Sox. 3 home runs, 60 ribbies. However, thus far in this tournament, a dismal 1 for 6. Stahl waits for the Cy Morgan delivery. Ira Thomas with the sign. Morgan has one he likes. The 2-0 fastball. Stahl swings on a base hit to left, and Larry Gardner is going to score easily. And the Boston Red Sox tied up in the bottom of the first. It is 1-1. So that was a quick one. A short-lived lead by the Philadelphia Athletics of 1911. So Jake Stahl, and I keep almost calling him Chick Stahl, who's in the now fondly remembered Ned McGreevy League, which is still existing. I haven't gotten rid of it yet. I have to do that. Jake Stahl, 13 steals in 1912 for him. Here's Duffy Lewis, 284 hitter in 1912, 109 runs batted in for him, 6 homers, 9 triples, and 9 stolen bases. Cy Morgan winds and fires, throws over, and Jake Stahl, safe on a close call. Morgan brings it home. Count even on Duffy Lewis. Chopper to first. Stuffy McGinnis will take it to the bag himself to retire Duffy Lewis for out number 2. Jake Stahl moves into scoring position for the Red Sox as Heine Wagner steps up. Heine Wagner hits 274. No relation to Hannes, by the way, for any casual listeners out there. Hit 274, 68 runs batted in. Jake Stahl at second. Cy Morgan rips and fires. Wagner swinging the first pitch. This one corrects the bases. Gapper in the right. And into scores Jake Stahl and Wagner going for 3. The tag by Baker. And Heine Wagner with the RBI triple. And the Boston Red Sox now lead this game 2-1 in the bottom of the first with 2 down. Ken Castro backing 2 great matchups tonight. Ken Castro also getting a Clams logo. So guys picking their ballparks, team names, colors for the Howie Shanks Bingo League. We'll be doing some stuff tomorrow night on the Howie Shanks Bingo League. Playing probably just a little test fun game as Steve has posted the updated league file in the Discord, so I have to remember to buy the 2022 season tomorrow just to have it. So we'll finalize some rules and we'll play a game hopefully between 2 managers not here. So that way we can just go over rules and stuff like that. And maybe we can coerce Steve. We'll try to figure out sometimes Steve would be willing to do some games on his channel. Maybe some other content creators like Robbie Wartburg might want to do something as well. None too subtle hint. Be nice to get a few different channels going with this and a few different broadcasters. So Wagner at third, 2 away, 2-1 Boston here in the bottom of the first. Cy Morgan fires to Bill Kerrigan, hit 263 in 1912. Kerrigan base hit to left, and that's going to be an RBI, and Heine Wagner trots home for the 3rd run for the Boston Red Sox. Here's Hall of Famer Harry Hooper, and it's been mentioned a couple times in this chat. Harry Hooper writing a wonderful wonderful sort of diary of his time in the majors, especially in his rookie year. And one of his wonderful entries, got a hit off of Walter Johnson. How about that? So Harry Hooper, I'm pretty sure a great player forgotten by Boston Red Sox fans. And that's a shame. So Hooper, he's 2 for 7 in this tournament. Kerrigan aboard at first. Only 7 steals for him in 1912. Stuffy McGinnis, nonetheless, holding the runner close. Morgan winds and fires a little changeup. Hooper chops it to Collins, who goes to Blackjack Berry for the final out. But the 1912 Boston Red Sox get 3 runs, 4 hits, no errors. We played 1. And it's the 1912 Boston squad 3 and the 1911 Philadelphia Hooligans 1. Ken Castro says that Harry Hooper's section in the Glory of Their Times is great. Yeah, it's kind of sad. So many forgotten players, and that's every. I really should be talking about the original 16, of course. I'm sure all the fans, like Rangers fans and Seattle fans, you guys should know your history. No excuse if you've forgotten any of your good players. But I think of all the great players in the original 16 that are forgotten. Harry Hooper's certainly one of them. I even wonder how many Red Sox fans remember Tris Speaker. and for that matter, Indians. I would say even Indians fans. Baseball, for such a rich history among its casual fans, or even its just kind of fans, not nerds like we are, just not a good sense of history, and it's kind of disappointing in this game that has a much greater, much deeper, much richer history than any other, certainly team sport in America. So Briss Lord will lead it off here. So the number 5, 6, 7 hitters due up for the Athletics. So Briss Lord, Rube Oldring, and Jack Barry. Briss Lord hit .310 in 1911. 55 ribbies for him, 15 steals. He and Rube Oldring, two of Lower Slower Board Gamers' favorite players on this 1911 Philadelphia Athletics squad. Too bad we don't see Chris Delaware in here too much. He's another big dead ball fan. Collins deals to Briss Lord. Here's the 0-1. Lord smacks this into left for a base hit as Duffy Lewis plays it on the hop. So Briss Lord aboard for center fielder Rube Oldring. So came oh so close in 1911, but a 297 average for him, still very good. 21 steals, 59 ribbies, 3 home runs, 14 triples for him. Briss Lord at first with 15 steals in 1911. Lefty Ray Collins checks the runner. Deals to Rube Oldring. Fastball bunted, and Jake Stahl onto Steve Yerkes covering on the play to retire Rube Oldring. Briss Lord will move to second, and it brings up shortstop Blackjack Berry. 265 hitter in 1911, a home run, 7 triples, 63 ribbies. 73 runs scored, 30 steals for Jack Berry. Jack Berry, very beloved player, member of this great Philadelphia team, fan favorite of the Athletics. Get a look at Jack. There he is. Looks like an amiable guy. Briss Lord in scoring position with 1 down. Philadelphia trying to cut more into this Boston lead. 3-1 here in the top of the second. Long way to go. Collins deals the 1-2 pitch. Curveball chopped to short. Heine Wagner tosses it on to Jake Stahl. For out number 2, look at Briss Lord back to second. So Lord will remain there at the Keystone sack, 2 away for Ira Thomas. Thomas just 1 for 6 in the tournament, hit .273 in 1911. The catcher waits for the delivery from Ray Collins, and here it comes, the 1-0. Fastball grounded to first. Jake Stahl will take it to the bag himself to retire Thomas and the side. No runs, 1 hit, no errors. We go to the bottom of the second. The 1912 Boston Red Sox 3, the 1911 Philadelphia Athletics 1. Steve Yerkes will lead it off here. Yerkes, a .252 hitter in 1912. He's 2 for 6 though, hitting .333 in this playoff, including 2 runs scored. Has a triple. Cy Morgan has neither walked nor struck out a batter thus far. Morgan brings it home, the 0-1. Yerkes scorched on the third base side, but this one's going to go foul. Yerkes swinging a bit early on the Morgan offering. Morgan sets and fires the 0-2 to Steve Yerkes. Curveball grounded to short. Berry sets and throws with eons of time to retire Yerkes for out number 1. Ray Collins now making his first plate appearance, but in 1912 hit .169. 2 runs batted in for the Red Sox. Morgan deals to his mound opponent, and it's a hit batsman. A hit batsman in every game in this tournament but 1. Yeah, oh, that's sad. So it's not just baseball. Yeah, Chris has done doing a lot more non-sports in his channel. Really, really love the baseball stuff. And Chris is such a good guy and a hell of a singer, by the way. So talking about what I was saying earlier, we'll just catch up with the chat here. Cousin Ken Castro saying there's an APA tournament at the Hall of Fame this weekend, Baseball Hall of Fame. Players have a grand total of 500 years with cards and dice. A few have been in the same league since the 50s and 60s. Big Clue, who's of course like big history geek as well, says you want proof how little history fans know? Look at the all-century team selections 22 years ago. Embarrassing. Ken Castro says to Big Clue, he says, Clue, I was covering a track meet a few years ago. A young reporter asked me who's my favorite interview of all time. I say Roger Banner. He says, who the fuck is that? Proud to be American. Am I right? Says Big Clue. The dumbing down is nearly complete, says Ken Castro. The Cubs and Bears stop in here at Fenway tonight. Ken, what did he said? Asking when did he interview the great Roger Bannister? What year? Yeah, it's sad. It's sad. All right, back at the top of the order for the 1912 Red Sox. Tris Speaker is 0 for 1. Popped a short back in the first. Cy Morgan wheels and deals. 3-2 pitch. And this one, a balk called on Cy Morgan. Morgan is fuming out there on the hill. That's the first balk we've seen in this tournament, and the first balk that we've seen on this channel in a while. So Ray Collins moves to second, and Morgan is upset. Ira Thomas is calling time. He trots out to the mound to try to calm his pitcher down a little bit. So it looks like Morgan started into his motion, kind of hesitated a little bit from this vantage point, but the umpire very quickly calling the balk. So Collins in scoring position now for the Red Sox. Speaker back in the box. Here's the payoff pitch from Cy Morgan. And now Cy Morgan may be rattled by the balk, cannot find the strike zone, and gives up the walk to the Gray Eagles. So 2 aboard for the Boston Red Sox, and only 1 out for Larry Gardner. The Red Sox third baseman is 1 for 1, a double back in the first. So Collins, not really any speed at second, and Tris Speaker, warp speed at first. Cy Morgan deals the 1-2 delivery. Fastball, and this one spanked to short. Berry to Collins to McGinnis, and the $100,000 infield turns 2. So a little bit of a scary inning, but Boston does not score, and we go to the top of the third, but the Red Sox maintain their 3-1 lead over the Athletics. Ken saying he interviewed Roger Bannister in 2001 at the University of Rhode Island. I will always, and have always, and will always not grasp the complete disregard for history, and not just baseball history, in this country. I don't get it. You know, in Europe, you can ask kids about the First World War, and they'll be able to rattle off all kinds of things about the First World War. Oh well. Not knocking America, but we are kind of notorious for being bad at history here in this country, and bad at geography too. Wow. All right, so Cy Morgan will lead it off, and then we swing around to the top of the 1911 Philadelphia A's order in home run Baker and Eddie Collins. So Cy Morgan hit 160 in 1911, 7 runs batted in. Ray Collins ready to work. Here's the 1-0 delivery. Cy Morgan swings, routine fly ball to center to Tris Speaker. Speaker coming in and to his right makes the catch. 1 up, 1 down for Philadelphia as we watch home run Baker stride to the plate, grabbing a wagon spoke. Tripled back in the first. Home run Baker would score. It was a brief 1-0 lead. Boston answered with 3 in the bottom of the first. Collins deals to Baker. 1-1. Baker slaps this one foul on the third base side. Larry Gardner giving chase, but this ball getting out of play and knocking a straw hat off one of the cranks there on the third base side. Baker back in there now, and the 1-2 from Collins. Baker swings, bounding ball to second. Yerke's up quickly, and on to Jake Stahl for out number 2. Eddie Collins, nothing for 1. The second baseman fly to shallow center. Back in the first again. Tonight's game brought to you by Fatima Cigarettes. Eddie Collins brings it, or Ray Collins brings it to Eddie Collins. Yerke's up with it onto Stahl, and side retired. We go to the bottom of the third. It's still 3-1, and we will see Jake Stahl, Duffy Lewis, and Heine Wagner for the Boston Red Sox of 1912. Played in a great World Series that we did on this channel. We did a replay of the 1912 World Series, the Red Sox and the New York Giants, and that was a great World Series. You can watch my video, but I think even better, just go back, just read about that 1912 series. It was a great one. Oh my goodness. All right, Jake Stahl is 1 for 1. He'll be followed by Duffy Lewis, as I said, Heine Wagner. So the 3, 4, 5 hitters due up for the Scarlet Hose. RBI single back in the first for Jake Stahl, scoring Larry Gardner. And that was the first Boston run. Cy Morgan has walked 1, sets and fires. 0-2. Cut on, base hit, center field. Rube Oldring up with it. Jake Stahl making the round turn, the long turn at first, wide turn, whatever. It's 11:34 p.m. Damn it, and not a single Guinness in me body tonight, eh? Stahl, decent lead at first for Duffy Lewis, who's nothing for 1. Grounded to first. Morgan checks the runner, throws over. Stahl back ahead of the McInnes tag. Stahl gets up, brushes off a little bit of infield dirt. Cy Morgan comes home with it. The 1-1 to Duffy Lewis. Spanked to first. McInnes to Barry, but they will not get Duffy Lewis at first. So Lewis aboard, the fielder's choice, 1 down for Heine Wagner. 1 for 1 at the dish for the Boston shortstop. RBI triple scoring Jake Stahl. Lewis 5 steps off first. Morgan with a check of the runner. The 0-1 to Heine Wagner. Fastball swung on. Rube Oldring going back in center. Has it. Duffy Lewis gets back to first quickly. 2 away here for Boston in the bottom of the third. For catcher Bill Kerrigan, who is 1 for 1. RBI single scoring Wagner, making it Boston 3, Philadelphia 1. Morgan checks the runner. The 0-2 to Kerrigan. Kerrigan cuts on this one. Little dribbler going foul on the third base side. Morgan winds in the 1-2 delivery to catcher Bill Kerrigan. And Kerrigan lays off this one outside. 2 Red Sox aboard, 2 down. Duffy Lewis at second. Bill Kerrigan at first. And here's right fielder Harry Hooper. Hooper grounded to second. This is very early. I know I'm talking a lot about Harry Hooper, and you look at that 1912 batting average of 242. So this is Harry Hooper, of course, would later be a teammate of George Herman Ruth. Hooper bemoaning the fact that Harry Frazee selling off all the players, including Ruth and many, many others. Harry Hooper writing that the great Yankees teams of the 20s were the great Red Sox teams of the teens. So Harry Hooper, lefty, waits for Cy Morgan's delivery. Here is the 1-2 pitch. Cut on, and routine fly ball right into Danny Murphy's glove and right. And that ends the inning. No runs, one hit, no errors. 3 in the books here at Fenway Park. And it's Boston 3, Philadelphia 1. Let's catch up on the chat. Ken Castro says, of course, Big Clue, giving us again the so very important quote from George Santana. Those who do not learn from history are doomed to repeat it. And then he adds, those who do learn from it are doomed to be outvoted by those who don't. Ken Castro says in a bar once he told a Patriots fan that the first F-ball game that he saw was an AFL game in the early 60s at Fenway Park. The reply, "You don't know shit, bro. The Pats never played in Fenway," said die-hard fan. Ugh. Come on, I'm not an F-ball fan, but I even know that the Steelers played at Forbes. And I actually, there's a picture. There's a picture out there, Cousin Ken. Too bad, I mean, I don't know when you were in this bar talking to that Patriots fan. But there's a picture, you clearly see them playing in Fenway Park. It's idiots. Oh well. Of course, Big Clue with a wonderful comment. He said that the Patriots exist before Brady got there. Yep, same here. Yeah, you could look it up. This generation is too damn lazy to bother, which is doubly frustrating, if I may editorialize for a moment. Right, everyone's carrying around smartphones, and you have essentially the accumulated history of humanity in your hip pocket or your front pocket or your wherever the hell you carry it. And what do people do? They text on it and watch TikTok videos. Man. Yep. And yet there's Robbie Wartburg, right? As Big Clue says, yet another reason he admires Robbie. He's learning. And he is. I admire him. I'm still mystified as to why he's not using his Sabre membership. But Robbie's really, from the very beginning in this channel, to say, hey, look, I don't know a lot about the history of the game. I want to learn. And Robbie's been doing that. So. Oh, geez, Big Clue. Big Clue saying after his playing days, he's waiting for this. I don't know how many games he was waiting to say this, but Big Clue says after his playing days, Mr. Hooper spent his retirement years running a grocery store on Sesame Street. Big Clue, I hope this gives you joy. I hope it gives you a big smile. You've been waiting for a 1912 Red Sox game to say it. You are the man. As Aaron Reed says, thank God he's not a TikToker. There's another guy here wanting to learn some baseball. Aaron Reed, child of the 90s, but came on with me in a couple broadcasts while the Ned McGreevy League was going on and was having a good time, asking a lot of good questions too. Sports bars, dude, they're not only for not reporters. I don't think a sports bar is, if you're a serious fan, forget it. Good place for some TNA though, I will say that, in a sports bar. But if you're going there for intelligent discussion about sport in a sports bar, forget it. Just ogle the chicks, watch the game, and drink some suds, man. Danny Murphy leads it off here, the number 3, 4, 5 hitters for this Philadelphia lineup. Danny Murphy has an RBI thus far. Ray Collins deals the 1-2. Murphy spanks this one into left center. Tris Speaker, Duffy Lewis converging. Speaker getting to the ball and getting it into Heine Wagner. So Danny Murphy aboard for Stuffy McGinnis, who is 0-1. Grounded to short. Danny Murphy, good speed at first, 22 steals. Decent lead off first. Collins checks the runner, fires it in, or fires it over, I should say. Murphy dives back under the stall tag. And Danny Murphy is safe. Have a look here at Danny Murphy. I'd like to show some of these players when I can. Ray Collins deals to McGinnis. Bunt. Kerrigan pouncing on it. Over to Steve Yerkes on a little wheel play, and Murphy makes it to second. So Philadelphia with a potential second run in scoring position here in the top of the fourth. For Brees Lord, who is 1 for 1. Singled back in the second. Good rowdy crowd here at Fenway Park, and a good crowd here tonight on our channel, family. Collins brings it home to Brees Lord. Here's the 2-0. Little grounder to Wagner at short, and a little textbook 6-3 put out. Murphy remains at second, 2 away for Rube Oldring. Collins brings it, and big one in there at the knees. Oldring absolutely frozen on that pitch. Side retired, no runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left. We go to the bottom of the fourth. Boston maintaining its 3-1 lead over Philadelphia. Todd B, welcome, 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 welcome. Good to see you, buddy. So Todd B, I don't know how, you haven't been here long enough. Steve is asking for team nicknames, ballparks, all that kind of stuff. So he's working on that. Player photos, and we're going to do a little rules finalization tomorrow night, a fun test game, and it looks like our commissioners, I think, have decided that we're going to have trades through Friday. So look at your rosters and get fired up in Discord. And then it's my wish, fond wish, that next Sunday we will officially start the Howie Shanks League. Should be fun. Steve Yerkes 0 for 1 leads it off here for Boston. The number 8, 9, and 1 hitters do up. So Yerkes, Ray Collins, and Tris Speaker. Steve Yerkes 0 for 1, grounded to short. Light rain continuing to fall here in Boston. 40 degrees, so it's a little uncomfortable day, but breeze just 4 miles per hour, so not much of a wind chill to speak of here. Morgan deals now to Yerkes. The 1-0. Yerkes slaps this one into left center for a base hit. So that is hit number 6 for Boston. And Yerkes is aboard, and here is pitcher Ray Collins. Infield in at the corners for Collins. Yerkes leads off first. Morgan checks the runner. Here he fires it into Collins. Nice bunt, but Morgan is going to get the lead runner. Yerkes is cut down. Sacrifice unsuccessful. Collins at first and 1 away. And back at the top of the order for Tris Speaker. Cy Morgan looking for possible double play ball. It should be noted, however, that in 1912, Tris Speaker did not ground into a double play. Speaker 0 for 1 tonight. Morgan brings it home. Count even on Speaker. Long fly ball to right. Danny Murphy ranging back and makes a nice catch in right field. Collins gets back to first, 2 away for Boston, and Larry Gardner. Of course, I should also note that I don't think ground into double play was yet a stat. Whether they're still putting that together, I don't think that statistic was being kept. So, but I don't imagine Tris Speaker was a guy that probably did hit into a lot of double plays anyhow. Here's the 2-2. Larry Gardner. This one in there for called strike 3. So no runs, 1 hit, no errors. We go to the top of the 5th inning. And it's the 1912 Red Sox 3, the 1911 A's 1. One of these teams will go home. The other will go on to face Ken Castro's 1884 Providence Grays. Shortstop Blackjack Berry will lead it off here in the top of the 5th for Philadelphia. Be followed by Ira Thomas and then Cy Morgan. Berry, nothing for 1, grounded to Heine Wagner at short his last time up. Ray Collins with a strikeout, no walks. The lefty deals, and Berry swinging on the first pitch pops this one high towards second. Steve Yerkes calling for it and makes the catch. 1 up, 1 down here for catcher Ira Thomas, and again I've mentioned before, was tossed in the first game for arguing balls and strikes. And I mean, he was absolutely livid. Escorted off the field. Thomas grounded to first, back in the second. Let's have a look at Ira. There he is. I love those striped ball caps that the A's wore, of course, in the 1976 Major League Baseball season, celebrating America's bicentennial. Teams were wearing those, and the Pirates would continue to wear those ball caps into, I believe, 1982 or 3 or something like that. So Ray Collins rears back and fires the 1-1. Ira Thomas bounces this one to Larry Gardner. 1 fluid motion on to Jake Stahl at first to retire Thomas for the 2nd out of the inning. That brings up Cy Morgan, who's nothing for 1. Fly to shallow left. Collins deals the 2-1, grounded to short, and it's Wagner to Stahl in the 6-3. And Philadelphia goes quietly, and we go to the bottom of the 5th. The score remains the same. Anyone heard of VR baseball? You could pay me to play anything in VR. That stuff makes me beyond seasick. Never heard of it, though. Never heard of it. RBI single for Stahl back in the first, scoring Larry Gardner, and then a single in the 3rd. So perfect 2 for 2 today for Stahl. Lefty Cy Morgan has hung up a K, and he has issued 2 free passes through 4 innings of work. Now brings it home to Jake Stahl, the 2-0. Stahl chops to second. Eddie Collins with the underhanded toss to Stuffy McGinnis to retire Stahl for out number 1. Left fielder Duffy Lewis, nothing for 2. Thomas sets the target. Morgan lets it go, the 0-2. And big swing and a miss by Duffy Lewis. Cy Morgan with the 2nd strikeout now in the game. And Heine Wagner batting 1 for 2. RBI triple, scoring Stahl back in the 1st and fly to deep right center in the 3rd. Wagner seeing the ball well against Cy Morgan. The lefty fires the 1-2 to Wagner. And that's going to be strikeout number 3 for Cy Morgan. Called 3rd strike. And after 5 complete, it is still 3-1. So all runs scored in the 1st inning. 3 by Boston, 1 by Philadelphia. Home run Baker leads it off here in the 6th. We're at the top of the order for Philadelphia, followed by Eddie Collins and Danny Murphy. Home run Baker 1 for 2. Led off the game with a triple. Lefty Collins with the 0-1. Baker swings in this fastball. This one high, this one deep, and this one gone. Home run over the right center field, or the right center field bleachers. And just like that, Philadelphia is back within 1 run of the Boston Red Sox. It's 3-2. And we'll look at that one more time. Baker just absolutely tattoos this ball, and it is gone. 325 feet. Touch 'em all, Mr. Baker. Getting to the time of the night where the hardcores are here and hanging in. Cocky Collins, nothing for 2. Stands in a lefty-lefty matchup here, and it's Collins versus Collins. Collins delivers the 0-1. Collins swings. Chopper. Collins has it, covering the bag to retire Collins for the first out of the inning. That was fun. Danny Murphy, 1-for-1 RBI. Sacrifice back in the first and scored home run Baker, and then singled in the fourth. So 1-for-1 for Danny Murphy, the right fielder. And Ray Collins deals and smacked a base hit into left field. Duffy Lewis up with it, getting it into Heine Wagner, and Murphy aboard for 1 out. So the tying run now on for Philadelphia, and that brings up Stuffy McGinnis. McGinnis sacrificed in the fourth, grounded to short in the first. Count even on McGinnis, curveball, little grounder to Wagner. Wagner to Yerkes, and Yerkes on to Jake Stahl for the inning-ending double play. But Philadelphia picks up a run on 2 hits, no errors. To the bottom of the 6th we go. Boston maintaining a razor-thin lead of 3-2 over the Philadelphia Athletics. Due up, Bill Kerrigan, Harry Hooper, and Steve Yerkes for the Boston Red Sox. Appreciate everybody hanging out with me tonight on a Saturday night. Doing some baseball. Ira Thomas sets the target now as Cy Morgan, with 3 strikeouts and 2 walks, deals to the Boston catcher, Bill Kerrigan, who is 1-for-1. The 0-2, Kerrigan, grounder to short, Blackjack up with it, and on to Stuffy. Much to the chagrin of the Fenway faithful and the Royal Rooters. Cannot forget the Royal Rooters, led by Ned McGreevy. Harry Hooper is nothing for 2. Goes back in time from Sesame Street. Thank you, Big Clue, for that that bit of that mirth, jocularity, as it were. Big Clue is given to many japes, you know. Morgan deals to Hooper, the 1-2. Hooper, clean base hit into left field, past Blackjack Berry. So 1 out single by Harry Hooper. That brings up Steve Yerkes, the second baseman, is 1-for-2, single back in the fourth. Cy Morgan with a check of Hooper at first. Hooper with 29 steals in 1912. Morgan comes home with it. And there goes Harry Hooper, the hit and run. Blackjack Berry's only play will be to first to retire Yerkes. And Hooper moves to second on the play, but 2 away. Boston with a runner in scoring position for pitcher Ray Collins. He was hit by Cy Morgan back in the second and wanted out in the fourth. Morgan deals the 3-2 pitch. Collins, bounding ball to second, and Eddie Collins on to Stuffy McGinnis to retire Ray Collins to end the inning. 6 in the books here at newly opened Fenway Park. It's Boston 3, Philadelphia 2. Let's check in with Le Chat. Baker doing his namesake, says Aaron Reed. Absolutely. Yes, you can. Todd B. Am I glad that I looked at the chat? Yes, you can. Surprised you didn't know this one, Todd B. You can just create your own season using the Lawman database. The Lawman database goes all the way back to the beginning. So you can indeed replicate this league in Digital Diamond Baseball. So hopefully that will make you smile. And if you want a tutorial on that, Todd, I will be more than happy to show you how to do it. All right, that being said, we go to the top of the 7th. Russ Lordrube, Oldring, and Blackjack Berry. I love that name, Blackjack. I love it. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward, Todd. And if you want a tutorial, that's something I can, like, just do pretty quickly. So I'll be glad to do it for you. Has Aaron Reed making some fun sort of comment in there. Collins now fires to Brees Lord, who is 1 for 2. The 1-1 popped in the infield. Heine Wagner calling for it. Can of corn. 1 up, 1 down for Rube Oldring. I just remember finally how Chris Delaware would talk so much about Rube Oldring. It was just all about Rube. And Chris used to do some good cards and dice baseball in the dead ball era. Even though Chris is a big one of 2 or 3 other people in this community that are Bucko fans, he always loved to play and manage whatever these the 1910, 1911 Philadelphia A's. Kerrigan sets the target for Ray Collins. Here's the 2-0 from the southpaw to Oldring. Oldring will send this routine fly ball to the Gray Eagle in center for out number 2. And here is my friend Blackjack Berry batting with 2 down. Berry nothing for 2. He is grounded to short and popped to second. See if Berry can straighten it out and get a base hit to center. Collins deals the 0-1. That's not going to happen. Gets the bunt down, but Bill Kerrigan on it. Side retired, middle of the 7th. It's Boston 3, Philadelphia 2. Good ball game. Oh, that's right. Aaron Reed, he says that his dad gave him the infamous scowl when he told him the Reds won today. So Aaron's dad and I would get along. Aaron's dad is a Pittsburgh Pirate fan. That's very cool. I know you said your dad's not good with computers. It'd be fun to have your dad come on and hang out for a game here and there, you know. As Ken Castro says, that dead ball strat league that Chris streamed was among my all-time faves. Same here. And Chris was really, really good, made it fun, and Chris has got that really nice kind of, even though he's a tenor as a singer, he's got that baritone delivery that I really, really like in baseball announcers. And Chris, just a lot of fun, genuinely one of the good guys in our community. Really like Chris, miss him at the ball games. I know he shows up at our Red Sox fan broadcasts occasionally and a few others. Ron Juckett, I believe. Although I don't hang out on Twitch, but I do know I'll catch a Ron Juckett broadcast every once in a while on YouTube. And I think also Dave Gardner's chats. Chris has stopped in here a couple times. Sure would like to talk to him again. He wants me to lay down a track of Journey's Faithfully so he can sing it. Chris, a brave dude. That song originally in the key of B. And Chris wants me to transpose it PQ River. Think about this. He wants me to transpose it up a half step to C. That's a high song. I sing high, but when I've covered that song in bands, I've always done it B in the original key because I can hit everything. But when you get into C, that's ridiculous. So looking forward to see what Chris does with Faithfully. Got to figure out a way to get it out there without a copyright strike. I guess since we're playing in a different key, we might be able to get away with it. Anyhow, top of the order for the Boston Red Sox here in the home half of the 7th. Tris Speaker, Larry Gardner, and Jake Stahl. Cy Morgan fires it in. 3 strikeouts, 2 walks. The 0-2 chopped to short. Blackjack Berry with plenty of time to retire. Tris Speaker out number 1. PQ Rivers, a baritone. Lights, great song. My favorite Journey song, well actually 2, because you named 2 of them, are Only the Young and Wheel in the Sky. Great songs. I just heard a like a heavy metal version of Separate Ways, and I hated it. It was just not good at all. But pretty good band, Journey. Pretty good band. Had some great hits. Could have done more, but Steve Perry wanted to go do other things, and Journey basically just kind of doing Journey with no new songs, I guess. But very talented band, Journey. Jonathan Cain, a fine keyboard player. He's no Rick Wakeman or no Richard Wright, but Jonathan Cain, good keyboard player for that band. Of course, Neil Schon, the guitar. Todd B saying that the 1982 Cardinals shut out the 1979 Expos 1-0. Joaquin Andujar gets the win, and thus far he is 6-2 with a 1.79 earned run average. I always liked Andujar. Again, I'm a Cardinals fan. Really like playing with Andujar in these baseball sims, and quite a fine pitcher. Todd B says, "When You Love a Woman," great Journey song in the later years. Not to be confused with Bryan Adams, "Have You Ever Loved a Woman?" Larry Gardner, 1 for 3, batting with 1 down. Cy Morgan, payoff pitch, and Gardner draws the walk. This one low and outside by Cy Morgan. That's his 3rd walk now to accompany 3 strikeouts in this game. Morgan through 6 and a 3rd innings has given up 7 hits, 3 earned runs, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts. And here's Jake Stahl, 2 for 3. So Stahl, in 1912, hitting .298 against righties. Morgan against righties. Righties only managing .240 against Cy Morgan. And I was talking to John DFW. This is also something else that I think this was in earlier iterations of Action PC Baseball, but I've grown fond of this. I would not play with this before, but Steve Tate kind of converted me to having this these percentages up here, and I have it set that they pop up in the later innings. I don't like them up there for the whole game, so I really like that. This is such a superb game. Gardner with his leadoff first, 1 down. Morgan delivers to Stahl, and there goes Gardner, the throw down, and they got him. Caught stealing. Ira Thomas comes up gunning. And Larry Gardner caught stealing. So 2 outs, base is empty. Jake Stahl back in the box in the 1-0. Grounder to short, Barry up with it, over to Stuffy McGinnis, and that will retire the side. And we go to the visitors' half of the 8th inning, and it's 3-2 Boston. Steve Perry, a huge baseball fan of the San Francisco Giants. And if we're talking about rock stars that are baseball fans, I think the ultimate rock star baseball fan has to be Geddy Lee. And Geddy Lee, I've seen interviews with Geddy Lee where he talks about baseball's history. And again, Geddy Lee, a Canadian, better sense of history, but Geddy Lee, an absolute baseball fanatic. I am happy to say that Paul McCartney is a baseball fan, but Geddy Lee is just insane baseball fan. He loves baseball and knows the history of the game. And hell of a bass player and a pretty damn good keyboard player too. Meatloaf was a big baseball fan. Aaron Reed says, "Oh my God, love me some Rush." Absolutely. I don't think any of the Pink Floyd guys are baseball fans, although Roger Waters does have one of his homes in America is in Cranberry Township. I think it'd be really cool to run into Roger Waters at a Pirates game, but probably not going to happen. Pink Floyd feuding again. Gilmore's and Waters at each other. All right, Ira Thomas will lead it off here in the 8th for Philadelphia. 0 for 2 for him. Ray Collins, look at his line through 7 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 strikeout for him. Collins with the 0-2. Ira Thomas swings. A little bounding ball to second. Steve Yerke's up with it, and a throw across to Jake Stahl for the first out of the 8th inning. Cy Morgan, 0 for 2, faces his mound opponent, Ray Collins. Deals, and coming in, Harry Davis. Fly ball to Speaker, and Harry Davis is out, number 2. Not enough time to look at Davis's stats, so we're not going to worry about it. Pardon me very much. So Aaron Reed says Mike Doc Emmerich, a hockey announcer, is a Pirates fan. Todd B says he thinks that Geddy Lee plays some sim baseball games as well. Nice. Maybe we can get him in our league sometime. Oh my God. So, as a keyboard player, I would, yeah. I don't know how much, hopefully we get some baseball done, but I'd love to talk to Geddy Lee. I mean, Ray sings, he'd play guitars, bass pedals, jamming on the keys, and then, oh my God, Geddy Lee is just brilliant. What a great band. Nick Mason, according to PQ River, has heard the new Dark Side of the Moon and says it's good, so remastered. 50th anniversary of Pink Floyd's seminal Dark Side of the Moon. Pink Floyd, my second favorite band. I found out from a friend of mine who saw Floyd in concert that actually what they did, which was really interesting, I've never heard of a band doing this. So Dark Side of the Moon was released in 73, yeah, 50 years. But what they were doing is when they were touring in 1972, fans were hearing Dark Side of the Moon, and Pink Floyd was kind of adjusting it as they went along. So that album holds the record for the longest time spent on the Billboard 500. I think it dropped off for like a week one time. It's still there. Not the greatest selling album of all time, but one of the best. And a phenomenal album, though. Personally, I prefer Animals, the album Animals from classic Pink Floyd, and then from the reiterated Pink Floyd has to be Delicate Sound of Thunder. Final Cut, what an underrated album. But that was when Roger Waters really did the dick move and fired keyboard player Richard Wright and then hired him back, but as a session musician. So Pink Floyd during the Final Cut was technically just Nick Mason, David Gilmour, and Roger Waters. Pretty crappy, man. Roger Waters wrote some great music, but he could be an absolute dick. So Frank Baker 2 for 3 with 2 down. Collins deals. Baker swings, bunts. Collins up with it on Steve Yerke's, and that will retire the side. And Doc Martin, no relation to Doc Martin of the Boots, will come in to pitch for the Philadelphia A's now. Bottom of the 8th, and Boston looking to advance and to meet the 1884 Providence Grays, holding on to this 3-2 lead. Boston plated 1 in the 1st and the 6th. Philadelphia plated 1 in the 1st and the 6th, and Boston clustered all 3 runs way back in the 1st frame. Duffy Lewis is 0 for 3. Let's look at Doc Martin's. And no, he's not wearing red shoelaces either, thank goodness. So Martin with a rather stratospheric 4.50 earned run average. I mean, that's high in any era. 1 win, 1 loss, 38 innings pitched, 17 walks, 21 strikeouts. Opponents in 1911 hitting .280 against Doc Martin. Martin has finished his warm-up pitches now. The righty delivers to Duffy Lewis, who's 0 for 3. The 1-1. Duffy Lewis, long fly ball to left, back on it. Bruce Lord, right in front of our sponsor's sign. Fatima Cigarettes makes the catch. One away, and here's Heine Wagner. Love it, love it, love it. Vinyl is still the best sound reproduction, and I'm glad it's making a comeback. Todd B said vinyl outselling DVDs last year. Brilliant. PQ River, a fan of Piper, The Gates of Dawn. It's the first album by Pink Floyd, and they were recording that at the same time at Abbey Road Studios as the Beatles were recording what many argue is the greatest rock album of all time, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. Pink Floyd asked to sit in with the Beatles, or sit in and watch the Beatles record, and all four of them at different times said that just being in that studio, watching how they worked really inspired them. So the Beatles, of course, I think it was Paul McCartney in an interview at the time had said, look out for Pink Floyd and Piper at the Gates of Dawn. So big fan, these bands of each other, so good stuff. One down for Heine Wagner. It's 1 for 3. We should have just a rock and roll chat some night and have a baseball game going. Doc Martin delivers the 1-1 to Wagner. Wagner, little grounder to Blackjack. Barry on to Stuffy McGinnis. And that is out number 2 here in the top of the 8th. Bill Kerrigan is 1 for 2. RBI back in the first, scoring Heine Wagner. Martin deals the 0-1. Cut on. And this one down the line to Frank Baker. It's close. Kerrigan beats it out. Infield single. That's the 8th hit for the Boston Red Sox here in the bottom of the 8th. As Harry Hooper steps in. Hooper singled back in the 6th. He is 1 for 3. Kerrigan at first, 2 away. Martin deals the 1-2 fastball. And Harry Hooper, swing and a miss. Could not catch up with that one. We go to the 9th inning. Philadelphia trying to pull it off here. Not wanting to take that train ride back down the corridor to Philadelphia. Boston looking to move to round 2 to face the Providence Grays in a battle of New England Titans. So Todd B, if you have the original Beatles Butcher cover, then you are a rich man. I know you're talking about 45s, singles, but if you have any albums, any LPs, and you've got a Butcher cover, you're a rich man. The story behind that is pretty crazy. And it was a pretty cool album cover too, but Capitol and EMI said, no, Fabs, you can't do that. Eddie Collins, nothing for 3. Ray Collins looking for the win here. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Eddie Collins grounded to third. Larry Gardner up with it across the diamond to Jake Stahl. And the Red Sox 2 outs away from advancing in the Ken Castro Corn League. That's corn. Danny Murphy is 2 for 2. Sacrifice RBI in the first and a single in the 4th and in the 6th. Collins deals to Murphy, the 2-0. Murphy swings, fly ball to Speaker, has it in his sights. 2 down, and it's up to Stuffy McGinnis to keep it alive for Philadelphia. It's been a hell of a series between these two teams. Good close ball game. Boston, although leading by 3-2, not playing as efficiently. Stranded 7 to Philadelphia's 2. McGinnis has grounded out twice. and sacrificed in the fourth. Ray Collins peers in. He sets in, fires. Is this the ball game? The 2-0. McGinnis, nope, base hit. Duffy Lewis up with it quickly, and Stuffy McGinnis on. So the tying run aboard for the 1911 Philadelphia Athletics. And here's Brees Lord, 1 for 3. Brees Lord in 1911 with 3 home runs, but 11 triples. And McGinnis, with 23 steals, could conceivably even score on a single. Lefty Collins has the sign from Kerrigan, shakes him off, now has one he likes. He sets and fires, count even on Lord. This won the ball game, routine fly ball to Speaker, and that does it. The 1912 Boston Red Sox will advance to round 2 and face the 1884 Providence Grays. Game recap for the victorious 1912 Boston Red Sox. 3 runs, 8 hits, no errors. This was an error-free game. Philadelphia, 2 runs, 6 hits. Let's look at extra base hits. A triple home run Baker, and a home run by home run Baker. A losing cause for Philadelphia. For the Boston Red Sox, a double by Larry Gardner, and a triple by Heine Wagner. Let's look at pitching. So Ray Collins gets the win for the 1912 Red Sox. He went 9 complete, 2 runs, both earned. Gave up a home run, didn't walk any, and struck out 1. Cy Morgan went 7 innings, 3 runs, all earned. Walked 3, struck out 3. Doc Martin came in, worked an inning in relief for the Philadelphia Athletics. Gave up a hit and struck out 1. So that does that. And we'll look at our playoff bracket. So 2 teams now have advanced, and 2 are gone. The 1914 Braves are out, and the 1911 Philadelphia Athletics are out. So when next we play the KCCL, we will go back to the Polo Grounds, where the 1908 Cleveland Naps and the 1904 New York Giants are tied at 1 game each. And then the 1907 Detroit Tigers, we saw them in the 1894 Baltimore Orioles in Game 1 of this doubleheader, are tied at 1 each. So the Pittsburgh Pirates of 1909 waiting for the winner between Cleveland and New York. And the 1885 Chicago White Stockings waiting for the winner of the Detroit-Baltimore game. And wouldn't it be a blast if Baltimore won it, to have 2 19th century teams in round 2? I think that would be really fun. All right, let's exit and we can chat for a few minutes. Todd B says, yeah, Ken said Boston will win this tournament. We shall see. That was a good game. 3-2. Good ball game. This would actually be fun to play out as a season at some point. But I think if I were to do it, I'm dying to do something on out of the park baseball. Maybe I'll make this a season in out of the park baseball. We'll see. We'll see. Todd says he thinks he picked the 1911 A's. That would have been a good pick too. So going back up there, PQ River says that his taste in music, as he says, my musical tastes are totally bizarre. So what, do you get into some Captain Beefheart and his magic band there, PQ River? Or the Shags? How about the Shags, man? You guys know about the Shags? Oof. Um, God, what is that? There's a song, something about a rabbit or I forget. It's but the Shags were totally, yeah. So there we go. Now I don't know if you're talking about the Shags or Captain Beefheart. The Shags are silly fun, yeah, absolutely. Let's see. So you're obviously you got to be a Frank Zappa fan, I'm assuming. That's it. My pal Foot Foot. That's it. Kind of a sad story, even though the Shags are silly fun. I guess their father who forced them to quote unquote learn instruments. I guess the guy was a bit of a dickweed. But yeah, the Shags, man, they did some sort of reunion show or a couple songs or something. Was it like 3 years ago or something? And they did My Pal Foot Foot. So expand bands like Magazine. Oh, the Buzzcocks. The Buzzcocks are a good band. I used to date some chick that turned me on to them. They're a good band and lots of 80s stuff. Cool. Yeah, man, you are all over the place. Because I mean, the Buzzcocks and Frank Zappa are nothing like one another. Yeah, the Jackson Five. Yeah, their dad was a dork. I'm a big Eno fan because I write ambient. Among the music that I write is ambient, so I'm a big fan of Eno. You like early Roxy? Nice. Got to be eclectic, man. Got to be eclectic. I'm more eclectic in sort of genres, but even in rock, though. I mean, I think my tastes are fairly varied. There's a few bands though. There's two acts in rock I can't stand. I can't stand AC/DC, and I can't stand Ted Nugent. So, but got bands. We all got bands we don't like and acts and whatever. But going outside of rock, I'm a big Lorena McKenna fan. Love Enya. Big blues fan. Love blues. Do me some jazz here and there. Reggae I can do for like 3 songs. I don't listen to country, but I love dark country. So give me some Robin Loxley and Blue Saraceno, and I mean that's some heavy stuff. Love it. No crying in your beer with dark country. It's like getting shot and ghosts and good stuff. Stuff the Grand Ole Opry would never allow on their stage. Anyhow, to baseball. So tomorrow, Steve Tate, he's around 1 to 2 p.m. ish Eastern Daylight Time. We'll be doing a bit of a roster review. He's already put up the, well, I guess it would be the penultimate now, rosters for us to review. So looking forward to that. BQ River saying reggae in some genres, a few songs at a time. I love bluegrass though. Now I don't like country, but I mean bluegrass and country, very different genres. I think my love for bluegrass comes from my Irishness because bluegrass is directly descended from Irish and Scottish folk music. So bluegrass bluegrass festivals are rowdier, way rowdier than rock concerts, man. Oh my God. To Cubs the Bears, Ted Nugent had his brain infected with an advanced case of cat scratch fever. He's such a big hero to certain political folk, and he tries to foist himself off as a great patriot, but he was a draft dodger. But conveniently forgotten by Sean Hannity and his gang. Anyhow, so you say your dad plays 5 string like a whiz. Nice. Yeah, bluegrass is fun. Those man, God, those guys. I love bluegrass music. My cousin was in a bluegrass band. Loved to go to festivals and if Robbie Wartburg really wants to meet a chick, I've met more women at bluegrass festivals than at rock festivals. So Robbie probably in bed by now, but Robbie should check out some bluegrass. I love Alison Krauss for many reasons. I mean, she's beautiful too. In addition to being extremely talented, Alison Krauss definitely, definitely hottie, hottie, hottie. See again, everybody in this chat, smart, know their history, into good music. So nice stuff. So what do you think, Cousin Ken? What are the chances of we maybe see the 1885 White Stockings and the 1894 Orioles? I think that would be an absolute blast. Want to see it happen. Not that I want to see the Tigers lose so much as I want to see I want to see Baltimore pull it out and go on to meet the Red Stockings. A 19th century bit of fun. So while we're sitting here talking, we're going to go to a project that we're just messing around with. I'm not going to play out a game tonight, but I thought we'd do a month of 1962 where in the New York Mets we added Cyclone Joe Williams, Satchel Paige, um, and we also added Cool Papa Bell and Josh Gibson. So I'm thinking let's sim out a couple games. Let's do this. And this is assuming I don't know how the lineups are going to work, but here we go. Let's see how the Mets do in the first month of the season. See what kind of impact these four players will have. Ken says that the 1885 White Stockings and the 1894 Baltimore Orioles would be a barn burner. If they don't make it, I'll set up an exhibition game sometime with them after this KCCL anyhow. I think it'd be fun to see those two teams play against each other. So the Mets right now are still sucking despite having four great players in there. They're 0-6 here in April. 0-7. Wow. So maybe this New York Mets team is kind of beyond redemption, but maybe we'll do a game or two every once in a while with them. They're now at 0-9. I probably should make sure that everybody is active on that roster. I think they are. So closing in, can the Mets win a game? God, I don't think so. It's pretty sad. And man, let's. Oh, hey, so they did win one, so they're 1-14, 1-15, and we're going into April 30th. All right, and the not so amazings are 1-16. Oh man, let's have a look. Let's see what the Negro League players are doing for the Mets, if anything. And let's go to replay. Maybe see if these guys they're doing anything. So Cool Papa Bell only in 3 games. We might have to do a little bit of messing around. And Josh Gibson only in 2. So the manager not using these guys. And Joe Williams and Satchel Paige. So we might have to play around with this a little bit, sort of live, because I really want to see what kind of impact they would have. So got to look at the manager tendencies, or just mess with the lineups, because as you can see right there on the screen, these Negro League players aren't on here. We go to the rotation, they're not on here. So we might start this over after I do some mechanical wizardry with 1962. The Cubs and Bears says even Satchel and Cole Papa can't help a team with Charlie Neal and Jay Hooks. World's Worst Gamer is going with his stadium, Crosley Field, and I don't know if Steve is still in here, but if he is, I have figured out mine as well. Oh no, no, Todd, this was something I had like started this about a month ago just to mess with it. But it looks like I'm gonna have to restart the league and make sure that those four Negro League players are getting playing time because they got none. So I'm going with Sportsman's Park in St. Louis. So I guess I'll have to put that in Discord because I don't I don't think our Steve Areno is here. Aaron's going with Crosley. So again, everybody, if you can, if you have Action PC and you see that your park isn't in there, I know somebody mentioned Parc Jarry. So let us see if Parc Jarry um, is in Action PC. I mean, it will be on this list over here, but we'll probably need to find images. So there is Parc Jarry, and let's see what we can find over here. Let's go to the Jays first. Um, okay, so whoever picked Parc Jarry, um, your park's in here, so you don't have to worry about it. It's all good. Oh, that's a nice image of it too. Very nice. Okay, we have some night photos of Jarry. So nice. Somebody mentioned a park in New Mexico in the Badlands. So probably have to find a picture of that park if you can. So Ken Castro. Okay, so Parc Jarry is it's in Action PC. So guys, if you have it and you don't find it, maybe save Steve a little bit of work and see if you could dig up a picture of it and post it up on Discord. That would be nice of you. Todd B says I ran across an old league of mine. Each franchise had 3 full years to choose from, but you had to take 5 position players and 3 pitchers from each year. So Todd, do you think that maybe there was a kind of sort of thing that jogged you that got that maybe that partially informed you with the Howie Shanks bingo league because that's genius, man. That is absolute genius. And everybody's having fun. I've never seen people so engaged as with this draft. And I mean, people were like saying, "Can't wait to play through this one and redraft another one and whatever." Maybe I'll change the name of the channel just to the Howie Shanks Bingo League and just run with it. Always been a what if kind of guy. Man after my own heart, but because I love those too. You've never seen me do a season replay on here, but um, wow, it's brilliant. I love it. I love the mix and match thing, and it is something I wish we could get some of the bigger guys into the bigger channels like Al and stuff. But you know, I love drafting teams, man. You number of players, retired players that you have in baseball, almost 20,000 or almost 19,000, I should say. And you look at the possible number of combinations, permutations, whatever you want, and the number is just truly astronomical. So I've said to people who buy Action PC, if they don't want to buy any seasons, just buy Action PC in the baseball history collection, and you pretty much have 27,000 lifetimes there of baseball to play. Todd B says we're always coming up with ideas. One year you had a salary cap and you bid on players, and Action PC has salary cap or has salaries for players, and I'm told I have the lowest payroll in the Howie Shanks League. So kind of honored by that. I'll be the Charles Comiskey or Bob Nutting, whichever you want to be, or both, of the league. Why the hell not? A tight-fisted bastard. So a great idea, Todd. Glad you, whatever jogged that, whatever made you come up with that. It just the response to it has been amazing. Call the channel as played, mocking it. There you go. Some people do. They're very, very, and that's fine. That's how they enjoy the game. Some players are some people, content creators and such, are obsessive and will actually look at newspaper box scores and see who came in what inning and whatever. Um, and so even if the strategy, they would have a better hitter coming off the bench to pinch hit, if that person came in that game or whatever, they'll bring in the person that was in the box score trying to recreate the game. And that gives them joy. That's really cool. I want to see, like in that in the Howie Shanks League, it's going to be fun to see how these how it all comes together. Where you have some of these great players in their great years, some great players in not their best years, some players you never heard of who had fantastic years, and and just mixing it all up. Lost Baltimore, what's that mean? Not sure what you mean by lost Baltimore there, Clinton Parks. This was, I have no idea what you're talking about. This was the KCCL, and it's the game is it's even up at one game apiece. Yeah, they lost tonight. They won the first one. I think we're talking about two. This KCCL, nobody's managing at all. Everybody just picked teams they like. Nobody's managing in this one. This is just a straight up baseball game. And Baltimore won the first one, and it was a good one. And the second one, they tried to mount a comeback, but they lost 8-5. Was that the 8-5 game? I think. Yeah, 8-5. So you confused me. So yep, we're actually hoping that Baltimore wins, so they face the 1885 Chicago White Stockings in round two, Clinton. But no, we've been talking about the draft league now. So, but man, I gotta fix this because I want those Negro League players playing. I'll wait and ask Steve Tate what I'm doing wrong here tomorrow because I want these guys in the lineup like all the time. So it says this league uses daily lineups, so I should be able to fix this up. So I've got to ask Steve again how to set up lineups, and I'll restart 1962 and just to see what kind of because there's cool Papa Bell. He's going to be playing against Cincinnati, but he's the only Negro leaguer in the lineup. I mean, they're starting Taylor over Josh Gibson to catch. So for those of you not knowing, for fun, we put four great Negro leaguers onto the 1962 mats, and we're going to kind of auto play most of the season and see if they can have any impact. But clearly doing something wrong because those four have not gotten into a game yet, and the Mets are 1-16 through April. No, no AS perfect. Well, not perfect, but if you guys want to have some fun, um, mess around with Chat GPT. It's a blast. It's really really fun. And I was watching I don't know if anybody here plays Forex games, but I was watching a interview with Brad Wardell of Stardock, and he was talking about Galactic Civilizations 4, which is, by the way, is a brilliant game. And the AI it's always been good in the Gal Civ games, but in this one, it has figured out on its own. He said they did not program. It's figured out on its own all kinds of little exploits and stuff like that. AI is getting really amazing. But will it ever be perfect? No, probably not. We better hope not. But yeah, geez, what the hell else? No, I don't have a lot of projects, Todd. That's the thing. I'm right now. Really, what we have is this dead ball tournament and the Howie Shanks League. That's pretty much it. I have some little one-offs and stuff like playing the Ned McGreevy All Stars um, against just a bunch of teams that we picked. But I'm waiting for the out of the park stadium mod, and I'm slowly putting something together in Digital Diamond Baseball. Chat, and I'll put it in here for you, Todd. It's really cool. There you go. It's really fun. You know what? I can bring it up for you guys really quickly, just so you can see what it is, and we'll make it baseball related. Um, and it's a great way like to just kind of surf the internet too, if you want. It's really fun. Let me get it up here for you guys real quick before we go. All right, so this is what's happening in AI land. Um, there's also AI music generators, stuff like that. So down here, maybe I could do something like, all right, tell me a story about the time um, Ty Cobb struck out against a uh, border collie in a baseball game in the, let's capitalize, in the Shetland Islands. So I'm going to hit return. Oh, let me see. Oh, see, it won't let me do the fictional thing, but sometimes it will. But what I have to do is I have to switch this up. So let's do a new chat, and let's do something here because you can really do some kind of fun things here. But the thing I have picked is not going to do it. Let me see. As you can see, there's like already almost 3,000 prompts in ChatGPT. So let's see. Write a fictional story um, about Babe Ruth and a young man named Robbie Wartburg selling peanuts at a Red Sox game. Let's see what it does here. All right, so here it's generating a story. Yeah, I'll show you what some of the history can do. So here we go, and you can rewrite this, but this is a little story about Babe Ruth and Robert Wartburg. We'll let this done. I'll read it for you. This is so much fun to play with, and you can do some cool other stuff with this as well. So Babe Ruth stepped out onto the diamond at Fenway Park, the crowd roaring with excitement. As he took his position at plate, a young man named Robbie Wartburg was selling peanuts in the stands. Robbie had always been a huge fan of the Red Sox, and he loved being able to come to the games and be part of the action, even if it was just as a vendor. But today was different. Today he had a chance encounter with one of the greatest baseball players of all time. As Robbie made his way through the crowd calling out, "Peanuts! Get your peanuts, yeah?" He spotted Babe Ruth sitting in the dugout watching the game. He couldn't believe his luck. Without hesitating, Robbie made his way over to the dugout and approached the legendary player. "Excuse me, Mr. Ruth," he said nervously. "Would you like to buy some peanuts?" Babe Ruth looked up at the young man and smiled. "Sure thing, son. I'll take a bag." Robbie handed him a bag of peanuts and watched as the Babe dug in, cracking open the shells and tossing them into his mouth. As he ate, Babe struck up a conversation with Robbie, asking him about his life and how he ended up selling peanuts at the ballpark. Robbie told him about his love of baseball and how he dreamed of one day playing for the Red Sox. Babe listened intently, nodding his head and offering words of encouragement. "Keep dreaming, kid," he said. "Anything is possible if you put your mind to it." As the game wore on, Robbie continued to sell peanuts, but he couldn't help but glance over at Babe Ruth every once in a while, seeing him there, enjoying the game and chatting with fans. Babe realized that even the greatest players were just regular people at heart. When the game finally ended, Babe Ruth stood up and waved goodbye to the crowd. Robbie watched as he made his way back to the dugout, feeling grateful for the chance to meet him. As he packed up his peanuts and headed home, Robbie knew that he would never forget this day, and even though he might never become a professional baseball player, he knew that he would always be a fan, thanks to the inspiring words of Babe Ruth. Oh yeah, so Ken Castro is going to hate this. So you can do something like this. Write an outline for um, for a uh, newspaper editorial on the history of baseball. Keep this very general for right now. Okay. So now, this is, if you got writer's block, it'll at least give you the outline. So the introduction, brief overview of baseball's history, blah, 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 baseball's reflection of American society. You can see this thing is generating like crazy. So there you go. You got your little outline. Um, let's see. And I'm just keeping this. Okay, write a 100. Let's see. Write a haiku about Ty Cobb. Let's see what it does here with Ty Cobb and a haiku. Ty Cobb's spikes gleam, a fierce competitor's heart, baseball's legend mark. There, just did a haiku. It does. It's crazy, crazy fun. It can be scary, but it's also fun. Let's see. Write a 150 word recap of the 1971 World Series. The 1971 World Series was a matchup between the American League champion Baltimore Orioles and the National League champion Pittsburgh Pirates. The Pirates, led by Roberto Clemente and Willie Stargell, won the series in 7 games, with the final game being played at Memorial Stadium in Baltimore. Game 7 was a pitcher's duel between Steve Blass of the Pirates and Mike Cuellar of the Orioles. The Pirates scored their only run of the game in the 4th inning on a solo homer on home run by Stargell. Blass was dominant, throwing a complete game and allowing 4 hits. The Pirates' victory marked their 4th World Series championship in team history, and the first for the team since 1960. Clemente was named the World Series MVP, becoming the first Latino player to receive the award. The 1971 World Series is remembered for its dramatic Game 7 and the outstanding performances by Stargell, Clemente, Blass, and Cuellar. You get some weird stuff. It's fun. AI is super fun. Now, but in a way, you do have to think, 'cause you can get creative with this too. So I look at it as just something that's fun. It's also very good if you're just looking for some nice ad copy. Now I could do this. Let's say I could take this. All right. So copy it, and I could say rewrite the following with high perplexity, and it's going to change it up completely and burstiness. So what this will do is humanize it a little bit more. And then colon, put in that prompt and do it. Now you can feel right. So the 1971 World Series was an epic battle between the American League Titans, the Baltimore Orioles, and the National League juggernauts, the Pittsburgh Pirates. The Pirates, led by the awe-inspiring duo of Roberto Clemente and Willie Stargell, vanquished their opponents in a grueling 7-game slugfest. finale, held in the hallowed grounds of Memorial Stadium in Baltimore, was a riveting duel between the masterful Steve Blass of the Pirates and the formidable Mike Cuellar of the Orioles. So this is great. It's like all this hyperbole now, right? Despite the Orioles' valiant efforts, the Pirates triumph. This almost sounds very 19th century, with a solitary run in the fourth inning, courtesy of a sensational solo homer by Stargell. Blast was a clear MVP of the game, tossing a blah 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 blah. It's fun. It's yeah. You could rewrite the play-by-play. You could. It's just neat. Um, I like it. You could say um, write more, and then it's just going to write more about it. And now it's even mentioning Dave Cash in this one. So it's just kind of fun. And again, it's limited to 250 words. Um, would I suggest like doing this? Yeah, of course, a lot of people could have used this in high school or college or whatever, but there are also AI detectors out there. So you have to put in prompts here if you wanted to use it to bypass AI detectors. So there's a lot of stuff going on in AI right now. And text to image is another that PQ River. PQ River says read it like Cosell. No, we need Aaron Reed to do that because he's the one that can imitate all these baseball announcers. But as an artist, I do my own stuff. But it's also good just again for just doing historical research. It's kind of fun. So tell me about um, Vlad the Impaler, for instance. Bam. So you can also just use it another way to search the web. And what it will do in these cases is it actually goes out and crawls and tries to find, you know, the best that it can, and you can have it rewrite it. And so here's the story of Vlad the Impaler, also known as Vlad Dracula or Vlad III, was a ruler of Wallachia, a region of modern-day Romania in the 15th century. He was born in Transylvania in 1431, and his father was a member of the Order of the Dragon, a chivalric order that fought against the Ottoman Empire. Vlad became known for his brutal tactics in warfare, including impaling his enemies on stakes and leaving them to die in public displays of power. He's also notorious for his strict adherence to the law, often imposing harsh punishments on even minor offenders. Despite his reputation for cruelty, Vlad was also known for bravery and cunning on the battlefield. He fought against the Ottoman Empire and other invading forces, and he's credited with saving Wallachia from foreign domination. Vlad's legacy has been the subject of much debate and controversy. Some view him as a hero, and I parenthetically will say that the Romanians do, and defender of his homeland, while others see him as a ruthless tyrant. His exploits have inspired countless legends, stories including the famous novel Dracula by Bram Stoker. Today, Vlad the Impaler remains a fascinating and enigmatic figure, representing both the best and worst of human nature. And again, this is a little blurb about him, but I did some graduate work on the historical Dracula, and this little short blurb is absolutely accurate. So it's fun. It could write corn stories. It could write corn stories. We could do one now. Write a fictional story. Let's do this. Write a um, funny fictional story about a first date between an ear of corn and I don't know, between an ear of corn and a box of, I don't know if it's going to do this. We'll see. Captain Crunch cereal. Let's see what it does. There we go. So it's fun. It is just fun. And we are going to have our first corn story here. So once upon, and I can have it rewrite it too, do all kinds of things. It's pretty much infinite. It's fun. Once upon a time, an ear of corn named Corny and a box of Cap'n Crunch cereal named Crunchy decided to go on a first date. They met at a local diner where Corny was nervously waiting for Crunchy to arrive. When Crunchy finally showed up, Corny was taken aback by his loud, crunchy personality. Crunchy, on the other hand, was fascinated by Corny's sweet and tender demeanor. As they perused the menu, Crunchy couldn't resist making corny jokes about Corny. I guess you're amazing, he said with a chuckle. Corny rolled her eyes but secretly found it endearing. When their food arrived, things got a little awkward. Corny did not know how to eat anything but herself. Oh, that's bad. Did not know how to eat anything but herself, while Crunchy had trouble getting his spoon into the bowl. After a few messy attempts, they both ended up in milk and butter. Despite the mess, Corny and Crunchy had a great time together. They bonded over their shared love of carbohydrates and terrible puns. As they said goodbye at the end of the night, Corny and Crunchy exchanged numbers and promised to go on another date. Maybe next time they'll try something a little less messy, like a salad or some fruit. But for now, they were just happy to have found each other in a world that didn't always understand their unique quirks. So it's fun. It is fun, right? It is just fun. And it's I don't know, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool, and it can get super super like you can. I don't know. I just love it. It's something every once in a while. If I'm just bored out of my skull, it's like I'll just bring this up or some other AI stuff and just mess with it. It's really really fun. Yeah, I look at it as just that way, Ken. It's just funny. I think that if people are using this to replace writing, I think they're, you know, probably not, you know, and there's this thing, is it going to put artists out of work? Is it put musicians out of work, writers out of work? No, it's not. It's really, really not going to. But there you go, guys. So we know the corny didn't know how to eat anything but herself. There's limitations to ChatGPT. It won't really let you do not safe for work stuff or anything that's really violent. But it's still cool. It's still kind of cool. But you could trick it into doing so. I know people that play role-playing games that will use this as kind of a DM tool to get some ideas. So you could do like create a um, Dungeons and Dragons encounter um, consisting of an elven ranger, a dwarf warrior, and a human wizard facing down a giant cupcake. And now it's creating this little encounter. Robbie and Ruth go nuts, fellas. I should have rewritten that to make it a little bit more regenerated that. So the party of adventurers, consisting of an elven ranger, dwarf warrior, and a human wizard, found themselves in a strange and whimsical land. As they walked through a forest clearing, they suddenly came face to face with a towering giant cupcake. The cupcake was twice the height of the tallest member of the party, and its frosting was so thick that it looked like a fluffy cloud. Its cherry on top glinted in the sunlight, almost mocking the adventurer's bravery. The elven ranger, quick on her feet, leapt forward and drew her bow. She aimed for the cherry, hoping to knock it off and distract the cupcake. The arrow flew true, striking the cherry and caused it to tumble off the top of the cupcake. The dwarf warrior charged forward, his axe raised high. He swung at the cupcake's base, but his blade bounced off the thick frosting. The cupcake retaliated, sending a wave of sticky frosting towards the dwarf. He managed to dodge most of it, but some still clung to his armor and slowed him down. The human wizard, not one for physical combat, pardon me, used his magic to create a gust of wind. He aimed it at the cupcake, hoping to knock it over. The wind hit the cupcake, causing it to wobble, but it didn't fall. As the cupcake advanced on the party, they realized they needed a new plan. The Elven Ranger suggested they try to eat their way through the frosting. The Dwarf Warrior grumbled that it wasn't a proper battle plan, but the Human Wizard was already conjuring up utensils. They attacked the frosting with knives and forks, carving out chunks and devouring them. The cupcake tried to defend itself with a spray of frosting, but it was no match for the hungry adventurers. In the end, the giant cupcake was defeated, reduced to nothing more than a pile of crumbs and frosting. The party licked their fingers and congratulated each other on a job well done, feeling a little bit sick from all the sugar, but victorious nonetheless. I don't care if we're losing viewership. Doesn't matter to me. I'm having fun. People want to go hang out. That's cool. Sticky frosting, cherries, another corn story. Absolutely. I'm all about it. But anyhow, Chat GPT, if you want to play around with it, you want to use it for some serious web surfing, it's fun. It's just a lot of fun. All right. So we did a doubleheader tonight, and we had a story about Robbie Wartburg and Babe Ruth. I think that you can't beat that with a stick, even if you wanted to. And on that note, dear friends, I think we are done, 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 done. So I want to thank everybody that came in tonight. 3-hour stream. Let's see if we can get back to the beginning. And I can only see the people that are here. So Steve Tate, Ken Castro, Big Clue, MV, Aaron Reed, PQ Ribber. I know the Cubs and Bears was in here for a while. Cousin Ken Castro, Robbie Wartburg. Did we get everybody? I think we got everybody. So, pretty sure. Did we say Aaron Reed's name? No, we didn't. Aaron Reed. Todd B. Boom, 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 boom. World's Worst Gamer. That's it. Best crew in the business. You're damn right. This is the best crew in the business right here. PQ River always. And Todd says his life is fulfilled. All right, guys. Catch you at Steve's tomorrow in the afternoon for his whatever he's going to be, his shenanigans on the Howie Shanks Bingo League. Until then, guys, see you around the batting cage. And possibly Robbie and Babe Ruth. Anyhow, good night, guys.